This episode of An Unexpected Podcast is brought to you by Emma Rose Kolk. Thank you. Hello, friends, and welcome to An Unexpected Podcast. I'm Lane.
And I'm Ez.
And we're talking Tolkien.
We're coming to you from the Shire of America, the beautiful state of Ohio, in a little village called Amanda.
This week, we're going to be covering the Bridge of Khazad-dûm as a part of our journey through Middle-earth.
We are.
Before we get there, we actually are going to introduce something new.
Yeah, this is cool.
Week.
This is fun.
Little table of contents. So this is mostly to keep Ez and I on track. Let's face it, keep me on track.
Right.
And we want to let you know ahead of time if there's anything special that kind of deviates from the normal chapter reread episode.
Yeah.
Or just kind of extras that we have on top of things. So this week we've got a Kiwi conversation, all right, with some Kiwis who recently visited the little Shire of America.
Yeah.
And we've got a couple of TV show thoughts from some uppers that we're going to share too. So a couple of special clips there. Other than that, it's going to be business as usual. We're going to get into dropping Eves. Ez?
Yeah.
Nope.
No.
Quick counsel first.
We should probably do that first.
This is my first time.
Well, yes.
Quick counsel. How you doing, buddy?
Quick counsel. I'm a little put off today for some reason. Things just seem backwards and reversed.
You sort of seem like me.
Yeah, it seems weird, doesn't it?
I seem calm, pretty under control. I'm only having one thought through my head at a time, which is very strange for me. And I don't know, I'm kind of worried about you.
It's weird because I'm like over here making faces and you're not even reacting.
Yeah, I know.
This must be what this feels like.
Does it feel kind of cold and disconnected?
This is weird.
Yeah,
this
not
is
very
crazy.
encouraging, is it? So you're feeling kind of off.
Yeah, feeling off. Just been kind of busy, kind of got a lot of crazy stuff going on. Yeah. So in my own, personal life.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Do you want to go into
Is
details?
it my life? I don't even know.
Where, if people wanted to follow your personal life, where could they follow you? We've never really given out our personal social media. Should we do that?
Yeah, we never have we?
I mean, we're all friends.
Yeah, we're all friends here.
Yeah.
Sure. So you can follow me at. I almost said Sticklebats McGee, but I should probably. I should make a Sticklebats McGee.
You better get on that because that's probably going to be taken.
That's
soon.
pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, Sticklebats McGee.
Sticklebats McGee. No, actually, at Womprat_2M. That's I'm on Twitter. I think I'm on Instagram. I think
he doesn't know.
I don't post a whole lot. I'm kind of.
You really don't.
I got my head down.
You're a giver. You're not a taker.
Well, yeah, that, and I'm also always just reading. I'm reading, taking notes, doing a bunch of different stuff. It's crazy.
You've got a lot to read for, man.
Yeah.
That's part of why you're busy. I think you got, you've got Game of Thrones stuff. You've got Star Wars
stuff.
You're even filling in over there with those Muggles.
Those Muggles, I know.
My goodness,
it's crazy.
You're on the Muggle bench.
I'm on the.
Call him up. He's in the bullpen.
Yep.
Get the old lefty swisher out. He's got
the lefty.
Cast a spell to strike this Voldemort out.
Actually, we did want to, during Quick Counsel, give a shout out to Swish and Flick. They gave us a very nice little plug last week, this past Sunday. And it's just nice to hear from Megan and Katie and Sarah and everybody that they enjoy the podcast. I didn't know how much they liked it, and I didn't know that they were listening.
They're just wonderful wizarding women.
They are.
That are very positive. They they're more they have a deeper friendship with you, obviously, but I even feel like I've only met them once, and I feel like I'm their friend too. And they're really cool girls.
But, that's the kind of the thing with podcasting. I was listening to some of their moderators talk and just their group, and I've looked at what we say in our group and the way we talk to you guys. It is kind of that type of a lot of you we haven't met, right? I mean,
right.
But I love all of you.
Yeah,
I think everyone in the group is super cool, and I feel like I do know you.
We love you guys.
Yeah, I feel like when I go to Sweden, I have people to hit up. Or
that's right.
England, I've got people to hit up and stay
with. It's an amazing thing. Yeah, when you're part of a community like that, it's it's transformative. I think.
Right.
Much like this story. So yes, and I actually heard their kind words too, and thank you so much. It's just we're both part of magical worlds.
We are.
So
we are.
It's nice that love is shared. Yes, sir.
Quick little tidbit. If you are in the Ohio area, we are going to be at I call it Potterfest, but it's actually Wizarding World of Kent. Thank you.
Yes.
It's going to be this. Let's see when this drops. It will be the following Saturday. Actually, it's 8 to 10.
Yes. So what a lot of people probably would do is if they were like Ez and I, and they, were part of an amazing book club, called an Unexpected Podcast, they'd show up there with probably wearing T-shirts and throwing cards everywhere and saying, "Oh, guys, check it out." We're not going to do that. We're going there to help.
Nope.
Promote Swish and Flick, and we're also going to be there kind of in disguise. So if you're there, you happen to be there too, and you want to try and find us.
Yeah.
Where's Waldo?
Try and find old Gandalf.
That's right. Appearing at Edoras as an old beggar man.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun. Another update, too. At this point in time, I will have sent out the Billy Boyd World Tour, the photo with the directions. Right now, once I get it back from the first person we're sending it to, I'll probably add to the directions and stuff, but I just wanted to simply get it out as quick as I could. There you go. It was a softball for you. That's what she said.
Oh,
it's cool.
Sorry.
But anyway, so we got that sent out, and we're going to continue to send that around the world and to different people. So that's on its way. Had to do, kind of got behind there. Had to, international ship it, fast. Okay.
Now it's actually cheaper than normal international shipping.
Yes.
The weird thing, in case you're wondering, guys.
Crazy.
It's cheaper to ship it quickly.
Yep.
Yes. Hello.
Quick little update here on the T-shirts.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So, how do we say this? You wanted to do a little. Wow, he is really, guys. This has never happened. I don't know how long we've been doing this. 7 months now. We've been all getting together and hanging out in this little dining room as a club. He's never been this way. It's amazing. Also kind of stressful. I don't know how he deals with me. So thank you, guys. I love you, man.
Thanks, man.
I love you seriously. We were watching Queer Eye.
Yeah.
We've been watching. My wife Goldberry and I have been watching Queer Eye like 5 episodes a day, every day.
Wow.
And this, I can't really share right now why, but I'm incredibly emotional right now. I'm just like, I'm in tune with my emotions in a high frequency, normal than normal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You are.
And I mean, I wouldn't have to be, but every episode I'm like losing my mind, crying, amazed at how these 5 men are able to help people become their best selves. It's an incredible, like, I wish they could run the world. I think we'd have a much healthier world. Anyway, why was I talking about that?
I have no idea.
Butterbird's back, baby.
You are. Me being weird. That's, I don't know. We went there.
T-shirt. It's about the T-shirt.
Yeah, T-shirts. What about
them? So anyway, we had an order. Wait, why was I talking about that?
I don't know, dude.
Dang it.
You had something and then it was gone. Kind of like Gollum. Well,
one thing drives out another, as they say. In Bree. Okay, whatever. So the T-shirt thing.
It'll come to you later.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't count on that.
Longest quick counsel ever, by the way.
Good thing the chapter's short. So Ez has been working his magic to get this T-shirt order in for you guys. It did not come out exactly as we wanted. Okay, so we wanted to let you guys know that we're still going to send them out anyway. This is for Patreon's supporters, patrons on Patreon.
Yep.
We we have a standard that we want to get just right. We want it to be something that we're proud of, not just completed. And so there were just some weird things that kind of happened with it. Anyway, we're going to explore another avenue to get those shirts made the way we want and the way that we're most proud of. So you'll be getting one of the ones that they're okay. They're not bad. They're really not that bad.
It's a first draft.
Yeah. It's a rough draft.
I wouldn't submit this for a grade.
Right.
So
right.
Right.
So that will be rectified. That you'll have 2 Unexpected Podcast shirts, essentially is what we're saying.
Yeah.
So
keep the first draft, by the way, because it could be worth.
It'll be a limited edition kind of thing.
Very limited.
It'll be at least worth $15.
Right.
Let's just get a hole in it. So that's pretty much it for quick counsel. Sorry it took so long.
Everything else going well in your life though. Everything's good.
Thanks for asking. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of there's some news coming up for sure. Okay. I believe, and life's good. The rugby tournament was amazing. That was great. We came in second place. Had a great time. The event was great. Everyone had a good time. Got to meet our rugby supplier, who's an amazing guy, Rob Thorson. Amazing dude. I feel like we're brothers from another mother, kind of a thing. Winnie's beautiful.
Yeah, she is.
Growing up like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, she loves. Actually, I didn't tell you this, but sometimes Sarah will go to the store or something. I give her a break, and she goes and does something just for herself or to get things that we need.
Yeah.
And I'll be at home with her, and she doesn't really want to play. She just wants me to hold her, and we'll throw on Rebel Watch, and she loves just listening and watching you.
No way.
Like she recognizes you.
No
it's
way.
Weird. It's so cool.
Dude, because every time I come in, like, I walk in and you guys could be talking and she could be playing or something. And I just start talking to you guys. She just stops and I just watch her and her head will just turn and she just stops and stares at me.
She loves you, man.
And
You're
then
her Uncle Ezra.
She just sits there and I'm like, I just keep talking, and then it's just crazy.
We always talk about this too. It's so funny because she will always be as old as our book club.
Yeah.
As old as this podcast. Isn't that? It's
awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So let's do some dropping eaves. You ready?
Let's do it. Yep.
We have Comic-Con, which is currently underway. When we're recording this, though, we're about a day from it happening. So we don't have any of the news that has broken there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we're guessing we're going to have some jewels that come out about the TV show and also the biopic, maybe hopefully a release date for the biopic. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But there is one cool thing that I've seen on social media that is being released through Weta. It's along the Mini Epics line, and they're releasing a limited edition gold Gandalf Mini Epics.
Yeah.
So like the one you ordered, but just completely gold. Shiny gold. It looks like you took yours and dipped it in gold.
You tagged me on that, but it couldn't get to come up and see what it looked like,
Yeah, well,
but
sounds like a problem you're having there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's user error.
Something's going on. Something's going on.
So anyway, cool. I'm sure there'll be all kinds of cool nuggets. Weta always delivers. They're amazing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so check that out.
Cool.
So in lieu of having a bunch of show news, we have what we have here is when we were up in Canada, we were there with my wife's family, of course, and her cousin Luke and his beautiful girlfriend Abby. We were in a car ride together. We tried to get back to this gold mine, which literally takes maybe 6 hours to get to round trip, just because the road is so overgrown and everything.
You were going to a gold mine.
We were.
Wow.
Yeah. Saw Gollum through the woods kind of trailing us. So anyway, I asked him on the way, I was like, what would you guys want out of a TV show? Guys, I've done this a couple times. Asked people that I've been in the car with.
Yeah.
We're just
you can't
talking anyway. And so, so we asked, what would you like to see? So I'm going to play a clip, and this is what they'd like to see. You're going to hear a little goofy intro by me, but then you're going to hear their ideas for what they'd like out of a Lord of the Rings TV show. Okay, I am here with beautiful Goldberry, our cousin Luke, and the beautiful Abby, Luke's shooting star that he's caught from the sky of netted elven stars, otherwise known as his girlfriend. And we're talking TV, and I just wanted to know what you guys would want out of a Lord of the Rings TV show. We're talking TV, we're talking favorite TV. So, what do you want out of an Amazon Lord of the Rings TV show?
I think
it could be era, it could be character, it could be location.
I think they should go into the Silmarillion.
Yeah, Silmarillion.
Yeah, okay. Sure. That's how you pronounce that. It's the English language. Yeah, I'd like to see them go into that, I guess.
Have you read that?
No, I haven't really read it much, but my dad's read it, and he talks a lot about it and really likes it.
It's the origin of the backstory.
Yeah, and also just explore the appendices of Return of the King. They kind of bastardized that. Are you allowed to curse on this podcast?
Yes, you can. You get 2 curses. You have to break a rubber band each time.
They bastardizes some of the appendices in the Hobbit movies, I think. So I think they should rework some of that.
Okay. I like it. Abby, what would you like?
Good TV.
Yeah, good TV.
That's what I would like.
Is there a character that you'd like to explore or have explored at a deeper level?
I'd like young Aragorn.
Yes, I agree.
He's
that's what I'm digging too.
He's 90 in the events of Lord of the Rings? 87?
Yeah. Okay. You round it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's in 2 Towers. He's 90, probably by Return of the King, right?
It only takes a year. Entire thing.
Really?
Yeah. 13 months.
You got me.
Yeah.
So yeah, young Aragorn, and he's fighting with Theoden's grandpa.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. I want to see whatever they were battling over.
And he goes to Gondor too, and spends time fighting against the kind of the origins of the rebirth of Sauron's army in Mordor. So
Yeah. I'd also like to see. I don't know if it's been a while since I've read the books. I don't know if they explain any of this, but I'd like to see some of the explanation for why Saruman turned.
Oh, yes.
Why he decided, because it seems like they plant some seeds of that. Again, they somewhat take liberty with it in The Hobbit, but I think they lay seeds that he's starting to think about it. I think in those movies.
But why?
Yeah, I'd like to know why.
And that's actually that would be a great thing to explore, because they do give some reasons, but they don't really flesh it out. They talk about his obsession with the enemy, his obsession with Ringlor, and how that led him.
But how does it lead him?
Yeah, there's not specific, so that's something you could have some liberty with and kind of flesh out.
Yeah, I think so. Abby?
I don't know too much about this to have opinion.
Just no more Frodo, right? Get away from Frodo.
Yeah.
He's a little too. Although, Frodo getting the ring seemed like he would be a cool guy to hang out with.
Yeah.
Post getting the ring, for good reason.
He kind of corrupts you.
Yeah, he kind of seems. He seems a little bit much like an emo kid. Which, back in her youth, Abby was a scene girl.
Yeah.
Is that how you would describe it?
Really?
Yeah. Then I could relate more, maybe.
Yeah.
I knew more about him.
That's awesome.
Wow, this is a whole other conversation. So are you guys game to come on for a part 2 at some point?
Sure.
Okay, we need Abby's backstory as an emo Frodo.
Post-ring Abby.
We're going to get to the roots of this. All right, guys, thank you.
Sounds like they were, bashing my boy Frodo there a little bit.
Yeah, Luke and Abby are the cutest things ever. They're amazing. Luke is in politics. Abby is a microbiologist.
Right. So does that excuse? So I should excuse them.
Well, here's what you're going to love about Luke. His first love is Star Wars.
Whoa.
We were in Canada, and he's sitting there reading some kind of novelization that leads up to the events of Rogue One. It's all political. He said it was like the House of Cards of Star Wars. I was like, you lost me at Star. That's right. Cool. But so they're great. I want to get their ideas on the
it's great, yeah.
On the TV show. They're awesome people. They're actually going to come to a long expected party, which will be a lot of fun in September. And beautiful people. What are you looking at?
Oh no, I was just saying hey to Goldberry.
Was she naked?
No, she's not.
You kept craning your neck there.
No, she just walked. I like to let people know when she walks by. Goldberry in the house.
That's right. It's not washing day though. Excuse me, my snag toenail just got you.
What was I gonna? Yeah. So bastardize? What is that?
To mess up.
Okay, cool.
I think.
I thought it was a great word.
I don't know. Guys, if I got any of those facts wrong, forgive me. I was on a high on Canada. On a high in Canada. I wasn't high in Canada.
What are you trying to say?
I don't know. You know what? I don't know.
All right.
But yeah.
No, it's cool. I appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll get also once we get the show, it'll be neat to get people's live reactions and make some predictions week to week, that kind of stuff. I kind of can't wait for that.
Abby is less of a fan as Luke is.
Yeah.
So Luke has some ideas of what he'd like to see, and he's game for the young Aragorn, like he said, Silmarillion. And dude, the more we've talked and thought about it, it's just got to be the way they go.
Silmarillion?
It's got to be the way they go.
Dude, it's...
I mean, as these histories are just starting to intrigue me more and more, Jay could just be so epic.
Yep. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of room to... There's like an outline, a good guide, a decent amount of material, and
you could still take some liberties.
Still take a couple of liberties with it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
So,
okay.
Anyways. All right, cool.
So in other corners of Middle Earth, we have...
the Tolkien biopic has been... It's
been released. It's been out for 5 years.
They're shutting it down.
It was an old article I was reading. They're done with it. So we have some the poll results, guys. This was amazing. It's only been out 3 days at this point. 150 votes.
Dude, that's crazy.
Holy cow, man.
That's awesome.
So we asked you, we've had the chance to follow both, and luckily we don't have to choose, but if you were forced to, who would you rather lead you into the heart of an epic quest? Aragorn or Gandalf? Now, as I got to admit, when I wrote this, I was like, Gandalf in a landslide, he's going to win.
Yeah.
That's not the case. It was pretty evenly split, with Aragorn coming out on top a little bit. 53% for Aragorn,
right?
47% for Gandalf. Who did you pick?
That was Gandalf.
Yeah.
Who'd you pick?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I don't know if I voted, actually.
You might not have. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't.
I think in the end I went with Aragorn because he's my boy. But
yeah,
I may have voted Gandalf because who does Aragorn follow? he follows Gandalf. So if I love Aragorn and he's following Gandalf, I should follow Gandalf.
Right, but Gandalf wants us all to follow Aragorn.
I know. You know what? They're too
regards.
damn selfless.
Yeah.
So whatever.
No, that's a good one, and it's good to see a lot of turnout.
That was really exciting. Yeah, cool. A lot of comments and everything too. Too many for us to read, of course, but you can go check it out on the Facebook page. So.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, friends, we're there. We're here.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
Time for the reread. So we are into Khazad-dûm, right?
Yes, we are.
So the Bridge of Khazad-dûm. This is a short chapter, as we said, and it's the action-packed chapter, though, right? It's got a lot of action in it.
A lot happens.
A lot goes down, and
big events, I guess.
Yeah.
Pretty massive events.
Right. So just real quickly in recap, last week we were in A Journey in the Dark, and basically that chapter title speaks for itself. we were in the dark.
Remember how many points we had to get through? This week is the exact opposite.
It's the exact opposite.
There are all these points that we need to make sure that we got in the right order and remembered because it's sometimes you can leave stuff out that's important. You don't want to.
Right.
But a lot happens in that last chapter. Actually, I think it was Kelly who was listening to last episode, and he was like, "Wait a minute, they didn't get to."
Yeah, they didn't get to the bridge of
And you almost this chapter is so short that it almost feels like he could have just kept going a couple more pages.
Absolutely.
But it's such a significant event that it needs to be in a chapter on its own.
Yeah.
What happens here is so pivotal that it needs to be its own thing.
Yeah, for sure. So, and a couple of the significant things. Here's something I was thinking about as we were reading this week.
Yeah.
Is they had heard the soft pattering footsteps. Yeah. Remember, which we kind of think is Gollum.
Yeah.
Following them. Just think about this when we're in this chapter.
Okay.
How does all of that? Where is he in all of this? I mean, where the hell is he hiding?
I did not even. That didn't even cross my mind, honestly.
I know it just kind of blew my mind a little bit.
And maybe that's exactly what he intended, too, right? For you to hear this and for Frodo to have this kind of fear, and then it's like we almost forget about it as readers, obviously, moving ahead because this so much happens in this chapter, you forget about it, and then when we have that character back in the story, it almost takes us as more of a surprise.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, my gosh, duh, he's there.
Yeah, for sure.
He's back.
So as we get into, we're recapping A Journey Through the Dark. I have our Facebook thread here. Michael Upshaw says, partway through the episode, you were wondering if Gandalf used the fire magic in the Hobbit
I was
book?
asking that question.
Yeah. And he says, yes, in the book, Gandalf uses magic in the goblin cave to erupt the fire and burn a host of the goblins before he kills their chief. He again uses the magic to light pine cones on fire and throw them at the wargs, right? There are other references to lightning type magic that kind of take place there. I forgot about the pine cones.
Yeah.
That's what you were thinking of, though.
Yes,
I think,
it was.
Because, we were talking outside of the cave. I think you and I were thinking that, but he's right.
Yeah.
totally. So
That's
thank
good.
you, Michael.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
I can sleep well now.
Right. Charles.
Charles was a little disappointed, so here you go. Into the mines! Gandalf needs a smoke.
That was our fault.
I'm sorry we let you down, Charles. That's bad. Hopefully that 0 out of 10 rating gets bumped up a couple.
Give us a 1.
Give us your best.
Give us a 1. No,
Come on.
I can't. Well, I don't even know. I didn't even know that was a line in the movie. I didn't know that was a line in the movie. Into the Mines.
Wow.
There it is, man.
-1.
We're back to a 0 now.
Gee.
Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. So I think that's. We only had a couple comments there. So as we get more, the thing about those threads is if you guys are new to the podcast and you're like, you guys already talked about that, it doesn't matter. You can still go hit up that thread.
Yeah.
And from time to time, we go back and check them. So we might refer back to a couple of chapters.
Well, with us going once a week now, too, there's less time in between of us recording and you hearing or following the reread in the previous chapter. So,
fear not. We will go back and check those threads.
We'll be vigilant.
Yeah. Okay, dokie. So, quick summary here. Just as we get into this, basically, we're in the Great Hall there.
Yep.
Is this what was the name of this hall? Do you remember the name of it? Exactly. Remember you kept
Dwellodelf.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kept saying
right.
it
That's right.
Last
and then
episode.
we get stuck into this room, remember?
Yeah, we do. So the hall, what was impressive about this hall in this chapter is they actually go into another hall later on that's bigger.
Yes. That's
and
right.
when they're on the run,
Yeah,
or are they on the run at that point? But
Yeah.
it's a bigger hall, and I was like, wait a second, what?
Yeah.
The fact, it just was kind of weird to me that this was the second one's even bigger than this one.
That's
the one that we slept in.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I was curious because we're going through Moria and there's all these twists and turns, small rooms, big rooms, great halls. I was like, there's got to be, someone has to have gone in and done like a good map. So there actually is a really good map, guys. Daniel Reeve, he's a part of Weta Digital. He's worked in the films. Does a lot of their map renderings that they create. I'll put it up on the page and you can check it out. It is an amazing, representation of Moria. So, and the cool thing, it shows all these chambers, all these paths, even different levels. Like the different levels are shaded different colors.
Yeah. Okay.
But we can even see it's like in white. You see that as
Yes, I do.
is the path that the Fellowship takes through it all.
Wow.
So it's kind of cool to look at. Based on the movie, but still, I mean, it's cool to just kind of check out. And
so that is based on the movie.
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yes,
All right. Pretty neat. Yeah. This is really cool. This is super detailed.
yeah.
So if you guys get a chance
Fun
to
to look
check
at.
this out, yeah. All right, man.
You just want to get into this one?
Yeah. Let's dive into
do it.
this. So the night before, actually, no, I'm sorry. We had ended up. We're at Balin's, tomb.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So while we're in there, we get a chance to little catch up on some of the history.
That's
basically.
right. Yeah, they kind of spot a book. So pretty much they're still coming to grips with what they've just seen. Balin, son of Fundine, Lord of Moria, dead. Yikes. So our biggest fear is true, right? His fate is no good. They start to be able to see a little more what's in this chamber, and I believe the name I didn't read it earlier because I'm gonna butcher it. Mazarbul. Okay, so that's what this chamber is called. We come to find out. Anyway, they look around and they see that there are broken swords, lots of bones. They can see both doors. There's cloven shields and helms, and even some orc scimitars that are like laying around. So they can see that there was a lot of, before they were just walking over stuff and they were focused on the tomb, and they didn't really realize that. Now they're starting to take in the area they're in now, and they're like, oh my gosh, crap went down.
Yeah.
So they see over in the corner, they see the remains of a book, right? They notice all these chests had been plundered. And Gandalf talks about how that's probably what happened. The orcs had come in and taken all the riches. But Gandalf spots this book, goes over and picks it up, and sees that it's a record of the fortunes of Balin's folk. So these questions we had way back in the council are going to be answered here.
They are going to be answered.
It's pretty awesome. We'll get to learn why we're looking at this tomb right in front of us. So
and as you said before, it's so the translation for the chamber name is the Chamber of Records.
Yes, that's right.
Right.
Yep.
So that's pretty neat. So we're in there, and I think we should kind of read. Gandalf has a little trouble reading this, but it does kind of tell you what happened to Balin, and it's written in Ori's hand. So again, those
last part is that's right. A lot of it is really hard for him, like you said, hard for him to read. But there's missing pages. There's blurred out spots.
Right. He says, well, I can read no more for a long way. So let me go back a little bit, because he starts to point out things like gold, Durin's axe.
Yes. Talks about Flowey being killed. He figures out that the top page is marked with a number. So 1 to 3. So at least 2 are missing in between. He thinks they're the years of them being there.
Okay. Yep.
As the interval. So we get kind of this record through the years of, because they were there a number of years.
And wasn't it around like 5 or 6 or how long was it? Does it say exactly?
I was a little unclear on that. The 5th year,
because he says at one point in, we'll get to it.
He reigned no more than 5 years.
I'm thinking Balin. Yeah.
That's right, Balin. Okay. Yes.
So as it says, we drove out the orcs from the great gate and guard. This is, I think the next word is blurred out, burned, probably room. We slew many in the bright sun in the dale. Floy was killed by an arrow. He slew the great. Then there's a blur followed by Floy under grass near Mir. It's just kind
I
of
love
broken.
the way it's written too, because it's like we're seeing Gandalf think through this.
Yeah, it's
like
really cool.
He's just. It's like if you got the book yourself. It's very realistic dialogue that Tolkien's writing. He's I can't read this next part. You would be saying this because they can't all be crowded around the book, and he wants them to hear what's going on. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there you go. Gimli, you're right, translates the Chamber of Records, and that's where we stand now. So it's kind of cool because as he goes through this information, it's the main point of this is that Gandalf realizes where they are. They've been kind of lost and unsure as to where they are in Moria. But, this is him being able to pinpoint where they actually are in the mines. Yeah, but which is good.
Does it not make it seem like that they were that they had trouble right kind of from the get-go? They drove the orcs out, then within a very short amount of time, they're still struggling.
Yeah,
and they are almost forced into like this corner, because when you look at that map and you think about how big Moria is, they don't occupy very much of it,
right?
And they're few in number, So it just seems like the fact that they set up shop here, this is. I think they kind of they imply that this is like his.
It's like his throne room like that he set up. That's right.
Know.
Yeah, they didn't. I mean, they had. It says they found some true silver. They found some mithril.
Yeah.
Right. But
that was probably exciting for them.
Yeah, it would have been great. They probably had a lot of hope there. But then you're right. Like as soon as Ori's hand takes over, it talks about how, Balin is shot in the back by an orc. They kill him. They can't hold their position. They're barring gates. They're getting forced back in. Yeah, you're right. And so they just keep getting cornered back into further places. Owain, Owain was one of the dwarves from the company. We learned that the Watcher in the water took him. So it's very, very interesting. We also learned too that pool has changed and sunk a little, and that the Watcher was sleeping down on the southern end, and that was good for the Fellowship. So these events are actually directly impacting the Fellowship right now.
Can I ask you? So, do you think Owain, when he is taken by the Watcher, right? Do you think his mission, because it kind of says, to seek for the upper armories of Third Deep, go westward to Holland Gate?
Yeah.
So, is he looking for aid? Is he maybe going to the other side to?
See, I'm thinking maybe he was going to get.
Maybe
they needed armor.
Yeah.
They needed armor. They needed weapons.
Right.
They were out. Someone had to go get stuff for them to, I don't know, against the attacks they were getting from these orcs, right?
Well, I just wonder, if one side is pretty well occupied by the orcs, and they came in through, the east gate.
Yeah.
Then perhaps the west gate is an area which they could scout out and fortify a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A good question.
That's
a good question.
Was thinking. So he unfortunately, is
taken.
Yikes. And so Gandalf, pauses. There are several pages of the same sort, rather hastily written and much damaged. But that makes me wonder if it's hastily written and much damaged, if this wasn't all written at the time that it occurred.
Yeah, I mean that's what it seems like, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that's the impression I got too.
Right? Is it like somebody just decided to write down and record the past several years or something?
Right.
Maybe some of the pages.
Maybe the
first or second page was like written in their time. They let the book go. They're working.
Yeah,
they're doing stuff.
They're not under as much duress.
They're almost trying to catch up here.
So are you thinking that so you're thinking that Ori knows the end is near and he's got to chronicle this stuff?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the handwriting
That's a
changes.
Great idea. Yeah. Right.
And I think you could write faster in something that he was comfortable with.
Yeah, he was good in that script. That's right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
so
anyways,
that's a good point. Was he writing hastily because all this stuff was happening at the same time, and that's just when he happened to write it? Or you're right. Or was it like their backs are against the wall, they're coming, we cannot get out, and I'm going to write it all down real quick before I die, kind of thing.
Well, and then were the pages that were missing intentional?
Ooh,
because the dwarves are pretty secretive about stuff.
Okay, well, either the dwarves taking it or maybe the orcs.
Maybe. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Maybe it contained information the orcs needed to find something of value.
Oh, there you go. That could be.
Or you're right. The dwarves took it and ate it, so they're not going to find this. It could be either way.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so cool.
It's just
I never thought of that.
Speculation.
Who took the pages, guys?
Thought,
You tell us.
So let's see. Pages are missing. Numbered to 5, as you said, 5th year of the colony.
Yeah.
I suppose. Let me see. No, they are 2 cut and stained. I cannot read them. We might do better in the sunlight. Wait, here is something. A large, bold hand using the Elvish script. This is when you get into... Okay, so maybe it was Ori's hand. Maybe it wasn't Ori's hand up until this point. But anyways, let's see. Looking over the wizard's arm, he could write well and speedily and often use the Elvish characters. I fear he had ill tidings to record in a fair hand, said Gandalf. The first word is sorrow. The first clear word is sorrow. But the rest of the line is lost unless it ends... he goes on here. Yesterday, he comes up with talking about Dimril Dale, right, and how they noting the date and time, November the 10th, that he fell in Dimril Dale, right? That's where you had kind of mentioned he's shot in the back, right?
Yep.
Behind a stone, the poisonous arrow kind of kills Balin, right? Let's see. Let's move on down here. Where do we get to that last page?
Down here it says. Gandalf even prefaces it and says, grim reading.
Yeah.
Fear their end was cruel. He says, we cannot get out. We cannot get out. They have taken the bridge in the second hall. Frar and Loni and Nali fell there. Then there are 4 lines smeared so that I can only read, went 5 days ago. The last lines run, the pool is up to the wall at Westgate. The watcher in the water took Owain. We cannot get out. The end comes, and then drums in the deep. I wonder what that means. The last thing written in its trailing scrawl of elf letters, they are coming.
Wow.
There is nothing more. Gandalf paused and stood in silent thought. Yeah, so, I mean, not to freak the Fellowship out anymore, but they're probably just like, geez. Really hoping that stone that Pippin dropped didn't aggravate any of these forces that, they're reading about right now, so...
Yeah, and Gandalf says it was valiant. It was valiant, but it was foolish.
Yes,
this attempt to retake
Moria,
and perhaps that's part of the recording. Is to kind of note that. Wow, there it is.
We're back in the cave.
We're back in the cave. Oh, that's great. Is to note that if other dwarves were to come this way, maybe they wrote this down to say there's a lot going on here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Type of thing. It's
a good point.
It's a warning,
I'm sure people have studied that and tried to figure out exactly what those missing, and I was words were. And
I was going to do some research on that. I think people have pieced together more of a coherent telling of that, and so we can look at that. Maybe someone will put that in the comments in the Facebook group, and we can kind of bring that up next week or something.
But the main point is Gandalf knows where they are now, and he knows where they need to go next. Since he was didn't know exactly what. He knew where Dwello Dwelf was, but some other areas he was kind of fuzzy on as he went through here. It's been a while since he's been there, and he came from a different direction. He has a landmark now, knows where they need to go, and how they need to try to get out of here. So that's the main point, because Boromir says, where do we go now?
Yep, what do we do?
Gandalf goes, I know exactly where. We're fine.
Yeah. Well, and he also important that he tells Gimli to take the book.
Yes.
Right.
That was excellent.
That was good. Take it back to Dane.
Yep. If you ever get there,
chance.
Right. Yeah.
Because at the onset of this, they're kind of told from Elrond, your path. This you never know what may came.
That's true.
What may come up, and you might have to go, back to your kingdoms or whatnot. So
you're not asked to go any farther than you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Gandalf says back to the hall. Back to the creepy hall where we slept before. Yeah. And as soon as we take a few steps that way,
what do we hear?
We hear that drumming, right? We hear that noise, right? It's kind of a terrible. It's a boom, right? Of just rolling. Are you kidding me? What in the
drums?
Oh my god, dude! Right, we hear drums. So not what I was expecting. Anyways,
steel drums in the deep.
Yeah, okay.
I thought that's what it was. Yeah.
Okay.
I misread. Sorry, I was reading the wrong chapter.
Okay, so the drums are scary. Sorry about that. If you were as alarmed as I was, I didn't know it was coming.
And also some horns. We hear
there's a horn.
These doom, these rolling drums, and then these horns and answering horns that come after that.
Yeah. And there was a hurrying sound of many feet.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Dude.
Right. They are coming.
Before we heard this, Frodo thought he heard this pitter patter of feet, right?
Yeah.
Right? Which we know is Gollum. And then it's just sort of interesting the comparison now we're hearing tons of feet. Mm-hmm. Everybody's hearing it, and we all know what's coming.
Right. Yeah. Yep. So I think it's neat, Legolas and Gimli kind of mimic what was said in the book.
I wonder if they even realized they were doing that. Was it intentional, or was it just like that's your reaction? You're like, they're coming, we can't get out. Is that what you would say anyway?
Well, I kind of think.
What do you think? Do you think it's an honor to them?
I think they were piecing it together in their mind.
Like they're playing Clue.
This is what happened.
Yeah. Okay.
Here it is. They are coming. We cannot get out. Trapped.
Yep.
Cried Gandalf. Why did I delay here? He kind of starts to.
He's always asked himself that.
Question himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's a debate. When they're in this room, you've got the two doors, which you can go out. So back into the hall, or there's the one that kind of goes down the stairs, right? Yep. There's this offshoot. And Aragorn initially wants to kind of bar both doors.
Yep, shut them both.
But really, then there's no way out.
Right.
And Gandalf feels like, keep one open because what we hear coming through this one door will try to press back, maybe make them kind of. The way I understood it is make them fear this place. It seems like orcs can be, once their chieftain or the lead orc or whoever is taken out, they scare easily.
Kind of scatter away.
Yeah.
Yep. You see that a lot in this chapter.
Yeah, I think it's not something I really remembered, but it's kind of standing out to me more as we go through this. So maybe they don't have to fight all of them, but you take out their leader, you're not going to go up against, the other minions are not going to go up against Aragorn.
Right.
They're going to scatter and get behind another big orc.
Right. Absolutely.
So
pack mentality kind of thing.
Yeah. So that seems to be the way in which they operate.
Yeah.
So let's see. Keep the east door ajar. We will go that way if we get a chance. So then you get those the harsh horn call, shrill cries, and so on. Let's see.
Again, it's just amazing. We're not quite there yet, but Tolkien is so. I had forgotten how well he writes battle scenes, build up to battle. It's not like it's stuff that you can glance over. Mm-hmm. He does it in the build up is amazing. What is this Gandalf that says here? Okay, I'll start where I had it underlined. There was a ring and a clatter as the company drew their swords. Again, you can imagine that. That's beautiful imagery. Glamdring shone with a pale light, and Sting glinted at the edges. Boromir set his shoulder against the western door. Wait a moment. Do not close it yet, said Gandalf. He sprang forward to Boromir's side and drew himself up to his full height. So you imagine Gandalf stooped over, right?
Yeah.
But in this moment, baby, boom, he's standing nice and tall. Who comes hither to disturb the rest of Balin, Lord of Moria? He cried in a loud voice. You can imagine just echoing through the hall, right?
Who comes hither to disturb the rest of Balin, Lord of Moria?
There he is. There he is, baby. Then there was a rush of hoarse laughter. Right? Just gross. It's way scarier than that. Yeah. Like the fall of sliding stones into a pit. Amid the clamor of a deep voice was amid the clamor, a deep voice was raised in command.
Dude,
doom, boom, doom went the drums in the deep. So this is a force coming together.
Yeah,
man.
but like it says there, like the fall of sliding stones into a pit.
Yeah,
I mean that is weird, isn't it? When you think about that, a rush of hoarse laughter, like the fall of sliding stones into a pit.
Yeah,
it's eerie. Yeah,
creepy.
So the goal here is, sometimes with his command or that question, he can put fear in the enemy, stop him.
Absolutely.
Power and word.
They know who Gandalf is.
Oh, they know who
Gandalf is known.
He's no joke.
That's right, man. Dude, also, sorry, just made this. Yeah. It's kind of interesting that comparing the laughter of their enemy coming to what Pippin did that actually kind of alerted them of what's going on.
Good call.
Sliding stone, falling stone into a pit. It's just kind of interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, you're right. Gandalf, he's like, maybe I can strike some fear into him. With a quick movement, Gandalf stepped before the narrow opening of the door and thrust forward his staff. So, sticking that thing out there. There was a dazzling flash that lit the chamber and passage outside. And I guess he does this for a look, right, to see exactly what's out there.
Yeah.
He says there are orcs, very many of them, and and some are large and evil, black uruks from Mordor. For the moment, they are hanging back, but there is something else there. A great cave troll, I think, or more than one. And there is no hope of escape that way.
Dang.
Wow. And Boromir says, and no hope at all if they come at the other door as well.
Yeah, good call. It's desperation time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's thinking, hey, if they're coming from the east as well, then we're double dead.
Right. But Aragorn doesn't hear anything.
Yeah, nothing there yet. So
I think we'll be okay for just a bit, right?
Yes.
So it says we cannot block the door. The key is gone. They're talking about trying to lock the door.
Yeah.
It opens inward. We must do something to delay the enemy first. So this is why in this chamber they're going to make a stand.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll make them fear the chamber of Khazad-dûm. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Awesome. And that's a lot like the movie, right? It's like I guess it's Gimli really who says that line. He speaks up stands up onto the tomb and he says, "Let them come."
Right.
There's one dwarf in Moria that still draws
breath. That's a great.
And it's just so.
You almost wish that would have happened here,
I know.
Right?
And while
that's a good.
Like the events are very different, right? Later on we see that the cave troll actually doesn't come into this tomb.
Yeah.
It just kind of sticks there, and they're able to fight it off before it can make its way in. In the movie, obviously, it busts through the door.
Yeah.
So it's different, but man, I tell you what, dude, they honored the spirit of this scene and the previous where they're reading Ori's handwriting and everything so well.
Yeah.
That you're able to forgive any kind of changes because really they work more for the movie.
And it's more. It does keep with the spirit.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
you're right. So like, in the movie, it feels so much like this part of the book, which is cool because I love when that happens. I love when it's similar enough that you go, man, I remember this scene. This scene is just, and there's that connection. There's that thread. But then you read it and you're like, oh wait, this is different here. This is a little more information, or this happened a little differently, in Tolkien's mind than we saw on screen. Just crazy.
Yeah. So as you said, that large, troll, right?
Yeah.
Is kind of up on the door.
Yep.
And foot slides under, arm is in there.
Yeah.
And Frodo gets one in for the Shire.
Yes, he does. That's right.
Because
Shire.
So Boromir's up there kind of holding it off or whatever.
Well, and it says, dude, listen, this is crazy. Boromir, leaped forward and hewed at the arm with all his might. And Boromir's a strong dude, right? We know this.
Yeah.
But his sword rang, glanced aside, and fell from his shaken hand. The blade was notched. So it messed his sword up, man. That's how tough this troll is. And like you said, Frodo got in there. He felt a hot wrath blaze up in his heart, screamed the Shire, went in, he was able to get some stabs in.
I got a question.
And that's got to speak to the power of his blade, right? Because it's a Gondolin blade.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so...
I get ahead of myself.
Well, no. I'm just wondering, the arm that comes through there,
yeah,
it's got... it's greenish, and it's got scales on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is that? That's not really what I remember being like a troll.
Huge arm and shoulder. I don't know. Yeah, I guess not. Well, I was thinking it was the troll.
I said troll, so don't.
That's what I was thinking.
That's what I was thinking. Now that I'm reading it again, I'm like, with a dark green skin,
a great flat toeless foot. I mean, that's got to be the troll.
That's gonna be the troll.
That's got to be the troll.
But there's this dark. I don't know. The dark skin of greenish scales. I don't know. And then his sword, just the way that it was kind of like bounces off.
I mean, if it's an orc, Boromir's sword's going to go right through it.
Huh? I don't
know.
So
it's got to be. I think it's got to be the troll.
Because there are things that Gandalf kind of says later on that he doesn't know what they are.
That's true.
And I know at first the initial is he's talking about the big Balrog,
right?
B word, the elephant in the room. I'm trying to pull a lane today. Suddenly, to his own surprise, Frodo felt a hot wrath blaze in his heart.
Yep.
The Shire.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Pretty amazing.
I'm thinking that rivals the whole Glorfindel. We need that on a shirt.
The Shire.
The Shire. So he kind of he gets a stab in here, honestly.
Yes, he does.
And it's kind of neat to describe, like just the way that the blood kind of it's black and it drips off and it smokes on the floor.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Then Boromir gets back up at the door, and this one rivals the Shire. It's Aragorn. One for the Shire.
Well, hey, are they keeping count already?
You
know what I mean? In the movie, they kind of make
question,
they really play this up, but
that's right.
But it's like right there, Frodo, son of Drogo, right, getting one in.
Got a good blade.
So, anyways, it kind of goes on here for a bit.
Arrows coming in, crashing on the door, rams and hammers trying to beat the door in. The fray was sharp, but the orcs were dismayed by the fierceness of the defense.
Yeah.
They didn't think it was going to be that easy.
It says that they couldn't really describe how many were coming in.
Right.
But it does describe that 13 had been killed.
Yes.
They killed 13 orcs.
That's right.
And, I think it was at Aragorn and Boromir's just swordsmanship that, taking down some of those guys that they flee for just a bit.
That's right.
Kind of back off. Let's see here.
Sam. I love the detail about his injury, right? He had a scratch along the scalp. A quick duck had saved him, and he had felled his orc. A sturdy thrust with his barrow blade.
Yeah.
I love this part right here. A fire was smoldering in his brown eyes that would have made Ted Sandyman step backwards if he had seen it. Love that,
dude. Because
the tie back to the rivalry between he and Ted, and
oh man, it's so
Samwise the Brave,
well placed because it's like it makes you seem. I don't know. It's like it just makes you feel so good. I don't know how to explain it. It's
old Sammy. He's becoming more than he ever thought he could be.
Yeah,
I mean, like if you would ask Sam back in the Shire, hey, do you think that you're gonna go, face down an orc and slice him in half? And,
right. No.
No.
Nope, but even as they retreated and before Pippin and Merry had reached, now is the time. Gandalf says it's time to go. So that door that we've left open, to the east there, let's go before the troll returns.
Yep.
Okay, so it had kind of retreated. And as they get to the stairs there, a huge orc chieftain.
This is awesome, dude.
Right, almost man high, clad in black mail from head to foot, leapt into the chamber. Behind him, his followers clustered in the doorway.
Yeah.
And he's the one who actually really presses this attack, and I think he has a spear or something like that. And he thrusts
the great spear. Yep.
Yeah, he thrust it at Frodo.
Yep.
And the blow caught him on the right side. He was hurled against the wall and pinned. Sam with a cry hacked at the spear shaft, and it broke. So he cuts that bad boy. Man. I mean, he's in there. Sam's in the thick of it, man.
Sam's a monster.
He's in the thick of it.
Yep.
But as the orc, flung down the truncheon and swept out, his sword there, Aragorn comes in and just, it doesn't take his head off, but comes down through his helm, sort of basically cuts right into his head.
Cuts his head in half.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says Anduril came down upon his helm. There was a flash like flame, and the helm burst asunder.
Yeah.
Blew his head up, dude. Yeah. The orc fell with cloven head. His followers fled howling as Boromir and Aragorn sprang at them. That's something I love that I guess we don't really see in the movie much, is just this constant pairing of Boromir and Aragorn.
Yeah.
The North and the South. Mm-hmm. Representatives of the two kingdoms of men fighting alongside. That's foreshadowing a redemption of Gondor.
Yep.
It's just really cool. It's a little thing that Tolkien can mention every paragraph that they're fighting, that we saw some of in the film. I mean, you see Aragorn and Boromir fighting side by side, but not tons.
Yeah.
Not tons.
Nope.
There's not the opportunity to see that very much. So
it is neat to really see them kind of working together and just they're both just really good.
Yeah.
Really good. So
doom,
with the drums and the deep. And then the great voice rolled out again.
Who is this great voice?
So, yeah.
Do you think it's the elephant in the room?
It might. Dude, okay, we're going to get to that. Because
okay.
I actually think there is two different things here. People know from past chapters that I like to stretch stuff and really go for some wild, let it all
it's kind of our MO, isn't it?
It really is.
We like engaging our imagination.
I think there's something else. There's something else too. But anyways, okay. So he says, this is the last chance, time to run for it. And Aragorn actually picks up Frodo. They think he's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah, gotta be, obviously. It
but
would have skewered a wild boar.
If you listen to the show, Frodo lives.
Frodo lives.
So, I mean,
from week to week.
Just pay attention. We'll never let you forget that. Spoiler alert at the end of every show. But no, it's
funny.
He's wearing his mithril, right? He's wearing his what was given to him by. I don't know if they actually mention that here. Do they mention it? Because I know Gandalf says there's more to him later on.
No, he doesn't reveal it. Right.
Which
in the movie he does. He opens his shirt and there it is. Right.
Yeah.
So they carry Frodo away, but they also have to drag away Gimli.
Oh,
he had just stood there with his head bowed at the tomb. I mean, he's feeling like my people are like.
Dude, Did this not give sadness. Was there not an image of like? Can you imagine just chaos surrounding him, right?
Yeah.
And he is let's say he's looking at the tomb,
Yeah.
head down.
Yeah. Almost willing to just die there himself.
Just standing there while battle rages around him.
Yep.
In his own world.
Yep. Pretty
That
amazing.
is kind of a crazy image for me to think
It
about.
is.
You know.
So Legolas pulls him away, and that's also interesting. Right before there's all this animosity between them, you know, the name calling, the back and forth, elves versus dwarves, blah blah blah, and it's Gandalf who entreated them, say, please, you know what, for no other sake than for my own, be friends.
Yeah. Yep.
Try to find a way to reignite the friendships of old, and here you have it. You could miss it if you look over this too quickly, but you know, it's Legolas that drags him away.
That's right.
Not Gandalf, who's really worried about Gimli and making sure Gimli's at the head with him, leading them through. It's not Aragorn. It's not anybody else. It's Legolas that grabs him.
Yep. That's just a little tiny. There's not much mission to it at all.
Right.
But boom, there it is.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, he drags him away. So, Frodo wakes up. I'm all right. I can walk. Put me down. And they're all happy to see him. You know, I mean, they actually really thought he was dead.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there's not time though to really discuss it. And Gandalf says, you know,
do as I say. Swords are no more use here. I love that part in the movie.
Yeah.
It's just so cool. He knows his wisdom, man. He knows the time to fight, the time to retreat, but he knows that he's got to. This is where he makes a stand, isn't it? He tells them to flee ahead, and the wizard kind of does his thing that we learn in more detail. What the details of that, but. Yeah.
So let me just actually kind of read some of this. So the passage. So they decide to take down. They go through the door, through the east door, and they head downwards.
Yep.
The passage was lit by no shaft, and it was utterly dark. They groped their way down a long flight of steps, and then looked back, but they could see nothing except high above them the faint glimmer of the wizard's staff. He seemed to be still standing on guard by the closed door. Frodo breathed heavily and leaned against Sam, who put his arm around him. They stood peering up the stairs into the darkness. Frodo thought he could hear the voice of Gandalf above, muttering words that ran down the sloping roof with a sighing echo. He could not catch what was said. The wall seemed to be trembling. And every now and again, the drum beats throbbed and rolled. Doom. Doom. So what's going on up there?
Isn't it amazing?
What is going on up there?
Listen, I forgot to mention too that he said, because I was so anxious to get to that line. Do as I say. But he says, you know, go down the stairs, wait for me a few minutes, but if I'm not there, go on.
Go on. Yeah.
And so you can imagine them rushing down the stairs, but being like, we gotta look back.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, turning back and looking and seeing, because his staff is illuminated, being able to see at least, you know, his end of what's going on.
I wish this was in the movie.
I do too. I understand why. Because it had to. Maybe I didn't have to, but it was quick. You know, this whole thing takes. They're meandering for another hour or so still, and in the movie it's very, very quick. They have this battle. They leave. Balrog scares the orcs away. They cross the bridge.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. There is more of a. Gandalf's battle is even longer than just on the bridge. I mean, this is massive, dude. And he doesn't even know what he's up against either.
No,
he doesn't know yet.
This is one of the best parts. I mean, because he's up there, and I'm just going to continue here.
Just continue.
Suddenly, at the top of the stair, there was a stab of white light. Then there was a dull rumble, and a heavy thud. The drum beats broke out wildly. You know, so you get that doom boom, doom boom.
Doom boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
Then they stopped. Gandalf came flying down the steps and fell to the ground in the midst of the company.
Fell to the ground, so exhausted that he's on the ground.
Yeah, he just simply said, well, that's over. Said the wizard, struggling to his feet. I have done all that I could, but I have met my match.
Wow.
And have nearly been destroyed. But don't stand here. Go on. You will have to do without light for a while. I am rather shaken. Go on. Where are you, Gimli? Come ahead with me. Keep close behind all of you.
Have we seen Gandalf like this yet? Have we ever seen Gandalf like this?
Nope.
Gandalf is shaken to the core. Gandalf is so weary. I mean, he's always the old man, the wandering wizard. He's so weary that he runs down those stairs, first of all.
Yeah.
Flies, it says. Then he collapses at their feet, Like he is shaken, man.
Yep.
Shaken. And I don't know if I'm in that fellowship, I'm thinking, what the hell was that? What's wrong with Gandalf?
I mean, now,
and there's no hope. I'm thinking in my mind, we're screwed. We're going to meet the same fate here that Balin's folk did because we're screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, like if Gandalf is this perturbed and this disturbed by what he's just encountered,
right?
And he doesn't know.
Yeah. Now let me ask you a question, because I think the way I read this as he fell down the stairs there, and as they move on, the sound of the drumming gets muffled and far away, but they were following.
Yeah.
So I think they just went back into that hall and they found there's another passageway out, and they're kind of circling around.
Sure.
They're not. I don't know that they actually came directly through the door.
No, I don't think so. No, I think you're right. I think maybe they know where they're going better than.
Even though it does say later on that the door shatters, and we'll talk about why.
But does it say anything came through? I think he said there was a shadow there.
Yeah,
right?
It doesn't. I don't really know.
I think you're right. I think they find another way around.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like they were pursued directly behind.
No.
It actually sounds
for
like
a while.
It actually sounds like they were going to set up shop. Here's what I really think is that they're going to set up shop there because he hears on the other side of the door them talking about fire and a trap that was laid. That's laid for him.
Gosh.
It's like they got him in two spots here. But anyways, let's see. So Gandalf took no turns, right or left, for the passage seemed to be going in the direction that he desired. Every now and again, he descended a flight of steps, 50 or more, to a lower level. At the moment, that was their chief danger.
Yeah, their steps, right?
Steps, yeah, because it was dark. They're not allowed to use any light. Stealth again. They're back into the emptiness. And Gandalf's even using his staff to kind of feel around,
like a blind man. Yeah,
yeah. So at the end of an hour,
yeah.
they had gone a mile.
Yeah.
So you're right. I mean, it's like for a while they are back in the stealth. They're hustling along. You can imagine this is a tense hour. But
for sure, that probably felt like days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But there's no sound of pursuit.
Nothing.
So that to me, because they were right. It's not like they're way down the stair steps when Gandalf comes down after them.
You're right.
You're right. They're setting up shop there. They're not pursuing them that way.
Nope.
Okay. All right.
Talks about... here you go. He says it's getting hotter. We should be to the gates soon. I'm very weary. I must rest here a moment, even if all the orcs ever spawned are after us.
Yeah.
So Gandalf needs a little bit of a break.
He's got to recharge.
Yes, he's exhausted.
Yeah, so Gimli takes his arm, helps him out there. And they want to know what happened at the door.
Yeah, this is insane, dude.
Did you meet the beater of the drums?
Insane.
So I'm going to read this part because those are two parts.
I got it all underlined. You do it, baby.
Those are two parts that I really thought were really, really key. Gandalf says, I do not know, but I found myself suddenly faced by something that I have not met before. I could think of nothing to do but to try and put a shutting spell on the door. What?
Yeah.
He puts a shutting spell on the door.
How cool is that?
Which is really cool. That's the part where I was like, man, I'd love to see him up there. And all it would be in movie form is he's whispering at the door.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah. Right.
So just to think that it's
whispering.
Who knows? Maybe he's waving his hand, or they saw the light from his staff. They saw, he was up there working with his staff on things. So I know many. So he's talking about shutting spells. I know many, but to do things of that kind rightly requires time.
I think that was cool too. A cool little.
Yeah, it takes time to really, really put a good old-fashioned shutting spell, as we know.
Right.
We do this every day.
Yep.
So it makes sense.
Call up Hogwarts. Oh, just kidding.
I'll tell you what, a Alohomora would not get you through the shutting spell that Gandalf put on that door. Am I right?
Neither would aloe vera.
All right. So let's see. Oh, okay. It requires time. And even then, the door can be broken by strength. Mm-hmm. Okay. So there's still a massive amount of strength on the door. Yeah. You imagine they bring the troll in or something, they can maybe kind of whatever, but it's not going to be just simply open, right. And also I'm guessing it's more of a, magic on magic spell because of what he hears.
Right.
So he says, as I stood there, I could hear orc voices on the other side. At any moment I thought they would burst it open. I could not hear what was said, they seemed to be talking in their own hideous language, and all I could catch was gosh. Is that how you say it? Gosh.
Yeah.
And that is fire. Then something came into the chamber. I felt it through the door, and the orcs themselves were afraid and fell silent. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Elephant in the room.
It laid hold of the iron ring, and then it perceived me and my spell.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yep.
What it was, I cannot guess, but I have never felt such a challenge. The counterspell was terrible. It nearly broke me, and for an instant the door left my control and began to open. I had to speak a word of command that proved...
Capital C.
Yeah. I had to speak a word of command. What?
That's got to be some deep magic, right? That's got to be like something only an Astari could do.
Dude, I know.
Right? I mean, it's got to be deeply...
That's your trump. That's your trump card. You pull that out, and that's like...
I'm Gandalf, I can do this.
Yeah, sorry. Dunzo.
And that's why he's exhausted.
That's exactly why.
That's why he's dead.
You don't use this card very often.
No.
So it was desperation.
Yep.
I mean, he's reaching to the bottom of the bag of tricks here, and calling on more power than maybe he's,
getting his best firework out.
I don't know. Yeah. So, all right. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So he spoke that word of command. That proved too great a strain. And I'm sorry, I'm just blowing this moment up for you guys.
Dude,
but
no, this is the moment we need to focus on. This is big time.
This is where it's at, And so it proved too great a strain, and the strain was on the door. The door burst into pieces.
Yeah.
Something dark as a cloud was blocking. Something dark as a cloud was blocking out all the light inside.
Yeah.
And I was thrown backwards down the stairs. All the way, all the wall gave way.
Yep.
Yeah. And the roof of the chamber fell as well, I think.
So that's what happened.
There we go.
That way.
I forgot about that.
I did too. I even reread it and I was like, that's right.
Yeah,
that's how I did it.
He says Balin was buried there and stuff.
Yes. That's right.
People probably listening earlier going, guys.
Well, just keep listening. We'll remember, guys.
I hadn't read this in a while.
Dude, are you gonna? You got more to read?
No, I think that's basically that's it. I mean that's the kind of the moment that we're in there. I mean it just kind of you blow that up because of what is on the unknown.
Right.
At this point in time, what's on the other side is just.
But his match, right? Saying that he's met his match.
It's a challenge that he had not.
Because I want to explain my thought process because I did some digging that I had never done before because we're in this book club and we're pushing each other, challenging each other. So my mind, I'm reading that right, and I did the same thing like you. I was like, I think you were even here when I did it. I had to finish this chapter, before we came on today because I'd listened to it a few times, but I always want to make sure that I read it because I just get more details that way. And I'm reading through this and blowing this moment up, and I'm like, I know what this is, obviously, because I know what happens next. It's a reread. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I'd never understood, because this stuff this is not in the movie.
Right. Yeah.
In the movie, the perception of the Balrog we get is big monster,
I know,
bad dude.
Right.
But nothing more than that.
Yeah.
The Balrog is not, and that's the other thing, is we hear Gandalf say this is a Balrog of Morgoth. Okay,
mm-hmm.
so
yep.
I guess if you know your histories,
that's
right?
That they said that.
If you know your histories, you know what's going on. Then you know he's one of many. But
mm-hmm.
if you were reading this for the first time, and you've just read the movies, and we have people in our book club that are like that, the Balrog is not just a unique thing.
Yeah,
the Balrog is one of many.
Yep.
And this is a specific Balrog. Yep. And it was so interesting too because I was thinking to myself, reading this, and I'm like, holy crap! So the Balrog can put on a counterspell.
Mm-hmm.
He can do magic, and I was like, why is that?
Yep.
I was like, he's got to be some kind of elevated being. This is insane. Like I had forgotten this stuff, and I'd never researched it before. I'm guessing the first few times I read it, I was like, okay, counterspell, maybe, I don't know, whatever. Just glanced over it, and it's like, no, dude, it's because the Balrogs are Maiar.
Yeah,
they are equals to Gandalf.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I mean, that's the amazing thing. They're not just like these dumb big monsters.
Yeah.
They are powerful beings that have the capability for magic and spells and all this crazy powerful stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a reason. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Long run. long story, is that I think the movie kind of cheapens the Balrog a little bit. It makes it like this big bad monster. Doesn't give it enough credit. There's a reason that it's not just because it's bigger than Gandalf that he feels like he's met his match. It's because it has these abilities that are beyond like normal creatures in Middle Earth.
Yeah.
So actually, I was blown away by that, dude. I felt like I got blown back down the stairs.
No, that's pretty neat. I mean, honestly, we were a couple weeks ago. We were sitting out by the fire.
Yep.
And I was talking to you a little bit about like some of the ancient worms and dragons of Middle Earth, and the battle. It's right here, and you guys can go look this up. It's in Tolkien's Gateway, which is just a great resource. Battle Under the Stars. Back in the First Age, kind of when. The Lothlórien elves, right, go and they had this epic, dude, there's like multiple, Balrogs, I mean, like facing down the Elf King. It's just nuts, man. I mean, it's cool. It's crazy to think about. And this is one that they awoke.
Yes.
I mean, this bad boy's not supposed to be up walking around.
Right.
And quite frankly, can I throw out something else?
Yeah.
So technically, and those of you who are listening, go do a little... I love to learn from you guys. You have no idea how much we learn from you.
Yeah.
This Balrog, was it? It's they're beholden to Morgoth, not Sauron, really.
Right.
He's kind of on their level.
Morgoth is Sauron's daddy.
Yeah. It's so like what's this old bad boy gonna do if he were to? I'm just kind of wondering, like, I mean,
that's
is he
true.
Just content with this domain? What's his plan? Who's he waiting for?
Were you talking about the War of Wrath?
No, I was.
Okay, because
what do you got?
Well, that's another thing I looked up, because this specific Balrog is Durin's Bane.
Durin's Bane, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
He had survived the War of Wrath, which I know nothing about, but that's pretty awesome. And he survives it and fled to the Misty Mountains and buried himself in this hibernation under the Misty Mountains at the roots of the mountains. So when these dwarves went back and they found Mithril and woke him up, it was Balin and his people, I'm guessing, were the dwarves that awokened him, or woke him up. He got woke Khazad-dûm, and
what?
And so he had slept for almost like 1,000 years, a whole age. He was hibernating under the mountains.
Holy smokes!
This is amazing, guys.
Dude, we're gonna have to go back and look this up.
This is the cool thing.
I did not know that, man.
This is the cool thing about Tolkien.
What
is you can go as far down the rabbit hole as you want. We could just keep reading, and there are other people who know this like the back of their hand, and they're going, Lainez, come on, let's speed it up here. But that's the cool thing about it is we learn from each other. Tolkien has written it all. It's all there, and you can explore it as much as you want. It almost kind of, dude, in a way, reading these stories feels like RPG.
Wow.
Because you're like, what path do we want to take? How deep do we want to go? How much research do we want to do? How much do we want to know about? I mean, you could read right through this and not know that information about the Balrog.
Holy
spit
smokes,
it, baby.
Dude.
Spit it. Come on.
Because what you're making me think, I think back to past chapters, and I try to, put all this together in my mind. When Aragorn had passed through, what did he know at this time?
Oh my gosh, dude.
Because in the movie they make it seem like they talk about what perhaps was that the original, well, yeah, I guess it is Durin's Bane.
Yes.
So, I'm just trying because the way this is explaining it on here is that it's the Third Age dwarves who kind of awaken this Balrog.
Yeah.
But I guess my question is, though, is when did Aragorn know more about this?
That's a great question.
Or
did he have some kind of
intuition?
A
feel,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, he had something because he was warning Gandalf along the whole way.
Right.
But
gosh,
dude, I'm just literally, you're blowing my mind. We typically just go through the chapter and don't use the gateway and stuff like that.
Well,
we just kind of do it on
I'm
our own.
sorry, I got that wrong. When he had awakened in the Third Age, he had been in hibernation for more than 5 millennia.
Jeez.
So 5,000 years. So he'd been there a long, long time.
It says that?
Yeah.
What? Holy smokes, dude. Okay.
Crazy. Okay, we're going to do some more research on the Balrog because now I'm fascinated.
I'm fascinated too.
So,
we got to get to that. We don't even know.
I know.
We don't even
sorry.
know. Hey, we don't
know who it is.
That could.
It's Gollum.
It's
Gollum.
Gollum's at the door speaking spells against Gandalf. Could you imagine?
Gandalf's like, oh my lord. locks.
A riddle or two here.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Where did we...
Balin is buried deep.
Okay.
He says, I've never felt so spent, but it is passing. So Gandalf is just worn out, but he's feeling better.
Oh, yeah, you talked about the air getting hotter, right?
Yes.
As they're moving down.
Yep.
And we talked about fire, is what they're kind of...
yes.
That the plan, and we said that they're cut off because of Gandalf, the wall coming down.
Yep.
And the roof. You know.
And you had read all of his, the details on up there at that door, and then Gandalf kind of turns his attention to Frodo. I thought he was lost, right? I thought you were gone for a second. I'm alive and whole. I think I am bruised and in pain, but it is not too bad. Yeah. Aragorn says, "I love this. It's just so cool to think back about." Just the connections they make in their friendship already. Yeah. I can only say that hobbits are made of a stuff so tough that I've never met the like of it. Had I known, I would have spoken softer in the inn at Bree. That spear thrust would have skewered a wild boar.
Wow.
Well, it did not skewer me, I am glad to say, though I feel as if I had been caught between a hammer and an anvil. He said no more. He found breathing painful. So just because you have mithril on doesn't mean you can't get hurt. It does hurt you, but you can't penetrate it. So
yeah, okay, all right. So now they move on again, and before long, Gimli spoke. He had keen eyes in the dark. He's kind of trying to tell them, he's up there in the front, kind of guiding the way. The light that they see, he sees this light though, and it's kind of this reddish light.
Not daylight.
No, it's not what he thought it was going to be. It's actually that fire, that the orcs were talking about. Yep. So not good. From a long ways off, it doesn't seem good, right? And Gandalf says, I wondered if that is what they meant, that the lower levels are on fire. Still, we can only go on. So they had to kind of press forward. And they're making their way. Long story short here, they're, he said they had devised for our welcome, no doubt. Let's see.
They come to this opening, don't they?
The second hall. There it is. Okay. That's what I was talking about at the beginning. So this is the second hall of Old Moria, and the gates are near, way beyond the eastern end on the left, not more than a quarter of a mile. Across the bridge, up a broad stair, along a wide
the end's
road.
in sight here.
Yeah. So there it is. Now, is this where they talk about that hall? Let's see.
Yeah,
about it being a little bigger, right?
Yeah,
it was loftier.
Yep. Before them was another cavernous hall. It was loftier and far longer than the one in which they had slept. So it's crazy. You're right to go back and think of that. It was even bigger than that one.
Yeah,
it's crazy. They were near its eastern end. Westward, it ran away into darkness. Down the center stalked a double line of towering pillars. I thought this was interesting because dwarves and elves don't get along very well. But check this out. They were carved like boles of mighty trees whose boughs upheld the roof with a branching tracery of stone. So interesting, right? Yeah. Elves love being around the trees. They love surrounding themselves in the forest. And dwarves are underground, and they're pillars. The pillars they carve even look like trees. So interesting. I think dwarves and elves have more in common than they realize, and they just need to get a cup of coffee together and mend their bridges.
They do. Mend the bridges. Oh, that's funny.
Sorry.
All right. So let's see here. So let us hope that they start to kind of see. Gandalf explains that if they had gone this way, they would have been trapped.
Yeah.
By the main road, down from the upper halls. So remember, he wanted to go back into that hall,
right,
and then come down,
right.
But by being trapped in there and going out this other way, they're kind of good.
Yep. So it was good that he delayed.
I guess. Always. I still think he could have gotten through the fire, though.
Always good that he delays. Well, I mean,
don't you think?
But is it? Well, yeah. But was he too spent?
Yeah, might have been.
That's a good question.
Yep. So he says, "Let us hope that the fire now lies between us and the pursuit." So again, in this whole time, you're hearing this, the beating of the drum.
Yeah.
It's distant, but it's there.
Gosh,
they're working their way around. And I love this. So now for the last race. So the pillars are trembling. They're getting closer and closer. If the sun is shining outside, we may still escape. And he says, "After me," Man. And really, he's saying that hopefully, it's not. Have they lost track of time? If the sun is shining outside, Or is he just saying, hopefully it's a nice, bright, sunshiny day?
Good question.
It's the power. They always talk about night versus day, and the fact that they can get outside.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Right. That I just
hadn't even thought of that.
He's just hoping for daylight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's been dark so long.
Well, an aid can come to them more easily outside of Moria if Gandalf needed to call for it. He doesn't know what he's about to face here. So, what else we got here? So
that you're right. The drums continue on. Some arrows whistling by. I love this. Boromir laughed. They did not expect this, he said. The fires cut them off. We are on the wrong side. So look ahead, called Gandalf. The bridge is near. It is dangerous and narrow. So what we see in the movie is exactly right.
Yeah.
Suddenly Frodo saw before him a black chasm. At the end of the hall, the floor vanished and fell into an unknown depth. The outer door could only be reached by a slender bridge of stone without curbward rail that spanned the chasm with one curving spring of 50 feet. It was an ancient defense of the dwarves against any enemy that might capture the first hall and the outer passages. So just such an irony there that it was actually designed to help defend this place and keep people out.
Right.
They're using it as a way to escape.
Keep them in.
And that's right.
Yep.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is pretty neat.
I love when stuff flip-flops like that. Like that to me,
structure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now they're getting pelted with some arrows because, again, it's a long distance type of situation here. And one of them, one struck Frodo and it just bounces back.
Right.
So we now know, thank goodness Bilbo gave him that. Right.
And then the one that goes through Gandalf's hat.
Right.
It looks like a black feather just sitting there. It's great.
But now Legolas kind of turns to respond.
Yeah.
With his bow and arrow.
Yeah.
And this is where, to have him kind of cry out in fear, you start to think it's because of the two trolls, but that's not what it was.
Yeah.
That gives him pause. Something was coming up behind them. What it was could not be seen.
Yeah.
It was like a great shadow, in the middle of which was a dark form, of man shape maybe, yet greater, and a power and terror seemed to be in it, and to go before it. I like the idea that it's not that it's larger than a man, but not as big as what we saw in the film. I guess that to me seems more like the shape that it might take. Because I guess they can take whatever shape they want,
right? And it's physical, but it's not physical. I mean, it's physical, but it's also more than physical.
Yes,
right. The power of fear going before it.
Right.
I mean, that's crazy. Like that's not. And it's not like it's. It just causes you to be afraid, but it's almost like this palpable thing. Like it's it's physical fear that's surrounded it. I don't know. That's just incredible.
Yeah, for sure.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they. Oh, sorry.
No. So Legolas calls it
paragraph. Yeah.
Legolas calls it what it is. He says that it's a Balrog, right? And Gimli calls it Durin's Bane.
Yep.
So it's.
And we see that
it's on.
That's right. We see that it has a streaming mane kindled and blazed behind it. In its right hand was a blade like a stabbing tongue of fire, and its left hand was a whip of many thongs.
Mm-hmm. Man, I'm just still kind of fixated on this. I've got some of the images pulled up for this thing, and there's a lot of different interpretations of it.
Yes. Well, that's actually strawberries with cream, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't even looked up that.
Spoiler alert, y'all.
All right. Well,
while we're dreaming and just kind of thinking about stuff.
Are we dreaming
from days gone by?
What about it?
I don't know. Like a Balrog out of the mists. I'd like to. I don't know. Daydream.
Yeah, me too.
How about a podcast? Would you give up for starting a Lord of the Rings podcast someday?
Yeah, man. I would be down.
Gotta get the name right.
We have to get the name right.
Yeah, you got any ideas?
I'm just worried that we're going to be in over our head when we start it.
Hopefully we don't end up dead.
So maybe.
What do you think? You got an idea?
Well, we have to have a name, though, so we just start there.
Yeah. Give me your best.
Oh, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Khazad-dûm.
It's my favorite Indiana Jones movie. How did you know?
Oh, God.
I like it. Okay, playing on the Khazad-dûm thing. LOTR for Khazad-dûmies.
That's good.
Or dummies.
I like it.
I don't know.
One for the Shire podcast.
Wow.
One for the Shire.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's anything to do with Aragorn. How about Oh My Gosh podcast. Or Oh My Fire.
Oh my gosh.
The spelling, people wouldn't really get that if you said it.
Right. You got, yeah.
All right.
It's, well, still pretty good. I like it.
Are we getting close, Az?
Yeah, we are. We'll one day get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't let the mugworts get you down.
Whoa.
Okay, back into the chapter. Because we're about to get to, like, this is just the
climax.
This is where it's at.
Yeah.
So.
What book are we reading again?
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah. A Belrog. Muttered Gandalf. Now I understand. He faltered. He leaned heavily on his staff. It's almost like
physically. It's like, oh.
But you almost wonder if it's like, you know, I wonder if he would have approached this a little differently if he would have known what was on the other side of that door.
That's a good question.
Would he have just gone all out battle on it right there? You know, versus giving that word of command up there at the top, or would he if he could almost call back down to them, just fly, you fools, you know, and then just take him on right there. I don't know. I just wonder.
or maybe even
because this is a scary place to be going.
Would Gandalf have the power to have caused that doorway to collapse?
Oh,
if he just would have focused on that,
you know,
maybe he thinks I should have just collapsed that, saved some of my strength, and then retreated.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's a crazy thought.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or would he have just faced them down there and told them to get out? Could they have gotten their way out without him?
I don't know. Good call. Because the way it makes it seem like the way just kind of works for Gandalf,
right?
You know, as if he doesn't
feeling
have to
his
turn
way,
left or right,
because he knows.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it is the dark
questions.
figure. The dark figure, streaming with fire, raced towards them. The orcs yelled and poured over the stone gangways. Then Boromir raised his horn and blew. That's great.
Yeah,
good for him.
He loves blowing that horn.
He loves it, man. Loud the challenge rang and bellowed like the shout of many throats under the cavernous roof. So for a moment, though, I guess the sounding of that horn kind of, quails him a little bit, right?
Yep.
Kind of, and the fiery shadow halted. Then the echoes died as suddenly as a flame blown out by a dark wind, and the enemy advanced again.
So I guess maybe that's the power of that.
Isn't that great?
That horn, huh?
I think it's kind of neat, actually.
Absolutely.
So it's time to get over the bridge, though. I mean, they're on the last leg here, so Gandalf's like, get over the bridge.
Fly!
Yeah.
Fly! And I love how Aragorn and Boromir do not heed the command, but still held their ground side by side behind Gandalf at the far end of the bridge. The others halted just within the doorway at the hall's end and turned, unable to leave their leader, to face the enemy alone. How about I read a little bit, and then you've got to read Gandalf's line.
Yeah, you go ahead and read a little bit. Yeah.
The Balrog reached the bridge. Gandalf stood in the middle of the span, leaning on his staff in his left hand, but in the other hand, Glamdring gleamed cold and white. His enemy halted again, facing him, and the shadow about it reached out like two vast wings. It raised the whip, and the thongs whined and cracked. Fire came from its nostrils, but Gandalf stood firm. Let's hear it, baby.
You cannot pass, he said. The orc stood still, and a dead silence fell. I am the servant of the secret fire, wielder of the flame of Arnor. You cannot pass. Now, he says,
"Flame of Udun."
When he says, "You cannot pass," is he speaking another word of command?
Ooh.
Like is that more of like his power,
Interesting.
and that he can just say these things and they
interesting.
They I don't know. I mean, because that's his big thing is you shall not pass. Right. So there's no fancy real spell work being done here, is there?
Maybe I see what you're saying. So like, is the capitalized command just like him simply saying this and it being like the power of him behind those words?
Go back to the shadow.
Oh shoot, man!
Right? I mean,
he is.
That's all he's doing. He's just telling him. He's giving these commands.
He's like, bro, this
you
is what's
shall
up.
Not pass.
Yep. Good
Go
point.
back to the shadow. You cannot pass.
And he's touting himself. He's saying, I'm the servant of the secret fire, wielder of the flame of Arnor, flame of Udun. It will not avail you. Wow.
Okay, and that's interesting too, right? Talking about the like the secret flame, right?
Yeah.
And when you look at some of the histories, and I've just started to kind of I'm like halfway through the Silmarillion.
Yes.
And diving into some of these other histories and things, and there's a lot of references to the flame, to the fire, to the secret, energy that they went into Middle Earth to kind of seek and things. So it's, I don't know. I want to do some more, research and stuff on that.
And I've never known what Flame of Udun means. So he's called. I in the movie, you almost feel like he's saying that that's a power he has, but clearly here when you're reading it, it's the dark fire will not avail you, and he's calling him a Flame of Udun. Udun is translated as the depth and means hell.
Ah, yeah.
So flame of hell is what he's calling him.
Yeah, go back to the shadow. Okay,
that's crazy.
You cannot pass.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. I am a servant of the secret fire.
Yeah.
That that's the part that kind of stood out to me though.
Yes, right. Yep.
Is that he's making a difference between the types of which
of fire.
And actually when he says
that's
that, when he says that, the fire or the red glow about this Belrog starts to actually kind of the darkness kind of comes out, but it dims, doesn't it?
Wow.
Says that a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
The fire seemed to die, but the darkness grew.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. I mean, this is really it, guys. This is the climax here.
It's what it's all about.
This is his great great task.
It stepped forward slowly on the bridge, and suddenly it drew itself up to a great height. Mm-hmm. Its wings spread from wall to wall. Mm-hmm. So I get that. I understand now maybe in the movie why they would have it, but I still don't think it's as big as tall. Mm-hmm. Maybe it does really kind of whatever. But I like if you look on the Tolkien Gateway, I like the interpretations that are done there. Yeah. It can still have a great this darkness can spread out from it like wings, but it's just to me it looks a little different from the way in which I read it.
Totally.
Let's see. Okay, so but still Gandalf could be seen, glimmering in the gloom. He seemed small and altogether alone, gray and bent.
Man,
I mean, Lane, isn't that what it's all about?
Yeah, dude.
The fact that he seems small.
Well, here's the
gray, bent.
Yes, and especially after learning, like being the moron I am, and taking 20 years to learn something, that these are equals.
Yeah, it's just
in terms of power, these are equals, right?
Yeah.
And so you've got this one that is this massive, big, fiery, evil-looking figure, right? Mm-hmm. Givers and takers, baby.
Yep.
And the other one is a gray, bent old man.
Yeah.
But they're about to do battle, y'all.
Dude, there's something in. I mean, it just.
Yes, there is.
I love this image.
And you know what this is?
I love them. Bro. Just go ahead.
I mean, so visually, I guess is what I'm. In terms of like power and everything, this isn't necessarily the same, I guess. But this is sort of a visual parallel of you've got Sauron.
Yeah.
And you've got a little tiny hobbit.
Yeah, dude.
This book is all about small things or seemingly small things having the power to change everything.
Trusting in friendship.
That's right. The stuff that gets overlooked and the stuff that gets taken for granted and abused is the stuff that has the power to win.
Yeah. Dude, here's another.
Daggone, bro.
Here's a great note.
Give me.
So, like a wizened tree.
Yeah.
Before the onset of a storm.
Yep.
I mean, just standing its ground. He's rooted in here.
Yep.
It's on.
Yep.
I mean, So, from out of the shadow, a red sword leapt flaming. Glamdrin glittered white in answer. There was a ringing clash and a stab of white fire. The Belrog fell back, and its sword flew up, in molten fragments.
Yeah.
All right. The wizard swayed on the bridge, stepped back a pace, and then again stood still. "You cannot pass," he said. With a bound, the Belrog leaped full upon the bridge. Its whip whirled and hissed. And they're just you imagine they're just frozen. I mean, especially so Aragorn's there. Like, what do we do, man? I mean, swords do not work anymore, guys.
But he's willing.
I know
he cannot stand alone. Elendil, he shouted. "I am with you, Gandalf."
Yep.
Then you got Boromir, Gondor.
Yeah.
Leaping forward to come after him.
Yeah.
Well, before they can, take it home, baby. I need you to take it home. This is Gandalf is your man.
So at that moment, Gandalf lifted his staff.
Yeah.
And crying aloud, he smote the bridge before him.
Yep.
The staff broke asunder and fell from his hand. A blinding sheet of white flame sprang up. The bridge cracked. Right at the Balrog's feet, it broke, and the stone upon which it stood, crashed into the gulf, while the rest remained. So it's kind of like poised there. It's quivering like a tongue of rock thrust into emptiness, which you can really picture that. Yes, and they do a great job in the movie. Great job. With a terrible cry, the Balrog fell forward, and its shadow plunged down and vanished. But even as it fell, it swung its whip, and the throngs lashed and curled about the wizard's knees, dragging him to the brink. He staggered and fell, grasped vainly at the stone, and slid into the abyss. "Fly, you fools!" he cried, and was gone.
Guys, I'm literally
I just want to cry.
I'm literally like a little kid here, just sitting. My book's closed.
I'm done. We could stop the chapter right there. It's over.
My book's closed. I'm sitting like a little kid listening to Ezra read this portion, and I'm looking at pictures of the Balrog and Gandalf on the internet.
I can't stop.
I feel like a little kid listening to Bilbo here.
Man. It's crazy because this is a shorter chapter, but you just want to build and blow these moments up. But that's why it's shorter.
Yes,
that's why it's emphasized, so we can blow these moments up because it's a big deal.
Exactly right.
I don't know. It's just, man, this is his great trial.
Yep.
And so the battle's not over. No. Just for those of you,
nope.
Hop right into Two Towers and you can find out what happens.
That's right. Great opening for a film. Probably the best opening of all time.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just kind of wrap this up a little bit.
They flee.
Aragorn takes charge. They're off.
Frodo heard Sam at his side weeping, and then he found that he himself was weeping as he ran.
They're distraught.
The drums are still there.
Yeah,
they're not. It's not like they get out scot-free though. In the movies, they kind of run through and they start crying. They come out and they encounter some more orcs. Aragorn smote to the ground the captain, and then of course the rest of them.
It was his wrath in which the other ones kind of flee here again.
They run away because they're afraid because he does have that power.
Yeah,
right.
He does.
I mean, not just Anduril, but him being
he's in charge now.
Yes, he is.
I mean, this is on his shoulders.
And this is really cool too because it really, I mean, going back to the poll, going back to your love of Gandalf, my love of Aragorn.
Yeah.
He of all the people there, of all the people in the Fellowship, he could have been the one to fall down and come apart and come unglued. Mm-hmm. He had known, with maybe the exception of Legolas, had known Gandalf the longest.
Oh, I bet. Yeah,
he had
he was a more personal relationship.
Yeah, they were. I'm guessing probably next to Elrond and Arwen, probably his deepest relationship was with Gandalf.
Yeah.
So losing, one of his best friends, gone. And something that he had anticipated and feared this entire time before they even went in. He wanted to take another path to try and avoid this.
Yeah.
And instead of falling apart, instead of melting, he rose to the challenge and is like, this is the only way to honor Gandalf is to lead this forward and to make sure I can take Frodo as far as I possibly can and get us out of here. That was Gandalf's wish for us to fly. I need to honor that.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, man.
Whew. Got a headache, man. I'm emotional.
I know. It's great. So they're out through the Dimrodale, right? And they've killed the guards. And as you said, I mean, the last part here is they kind of they still hear the beating of the drums.
Yeah.
Doom, doom, nothing else was to be seen. The dale all around was empty. So after they scatter those orcs, and kind of they press on for a while. Mm-hmm. We kind of get that they just come out and like fall on the rocks and they're just a mess. Mm-hmm. They have to press on for a little bit. Grief at last wholly overcame them and they wept long. Some standing and silent, some cast upon the ground. Doom, doom. The drum beats faded. So, anyways, that's the chapter.
I mean, we're gonna have to go watch this as soon as we're done.
I'm literally, when we get off here, all I'm gonna do is sit down and look up Balrogs because, I didn't think I needed to know that much. I was like, I'm good. And then once and I knew a little bit as I was getting into some of the stories, in that first age and some of Morgoth's coming to be and stuff. But when you really go look at it and dive into it, you're like, what a challenge!
Yeah.
For Gandalf.
Yeah,
it's just huge.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So, anyways, man, any other thoughts on the chapter? Is it one of the I mean, it's just.
I'm actually not crying right now, but I feel like I could be.
Dude,
it's funny how I don't know. Like,
let me take you back to your first time reading through.
So
I remember.
You got to take me to my first time watching it, probably.
Okay, that's fine.
Because I watched Fellowship before I read any of the books.
So this moment, I
was a mess. I was 12 or 13? I think I was 13, I was 13 years old.
Yeah.
And at that, 13, it's not cool to cry.
Yeah.
Right. I remember being unable to control myself. I was, and then you see him hang on, and then fall, and I didn't know what was going on, so I'm like, Gandalf is dead.
He's dead.
Gandalf is dead. And then seeing the reaction of everyone else just weeping,
that really drives it home.
It does. Yeah. And to go through and to pick it apart like this with you, I don't know. It's just crazy, dude. It's crazy how you can come with this story so many different ways, and it helps it make it feel like the first time.
Yeah.
The magic is so deep that
there's so much in here that you also forget too.
Yes. Yes.
Because I'll tell you this, man.
And we're reading this with an analytical view.
Yeah, we are.
We're trying to find stuff. We're looking for things. Mm-hmm. So that changes it.
We're not just sitting. We're actually trying to piece apart every single word, every single sentence. I thought back, as I always listen to it before I get here. I've read it multiple times before we come to the week, which might surprise some of you because you're like, you guys missed half the stuff in the chapter. But that's because there's so much.
Are we missing it? Or are we just leaving it for you to find next time?
For you to find. But my original, my first read, later on, those of you, we said it's a reread. Later on, what happens in Two Towers? So I'll just put it like that. I didn't understand it. Mm-hmm. I didn't understand what was happening. Mm-hmm. I had no idea how it could happen. It didn't make sense to me. I was like, I almost didn't accept it.
Right.
I was like, what? And it just didn't feel like it was even the same. I was like, this is strange. Mm-hmm. So I remember it was my favorite character when I first started reading. And I loved him in The Hobbit because he disappears.
Yep.
But I remember thinking to myself, I for maybe just a hair, I thought, okay, maybe he's
really gone.
No, maybe I thought maybe he's just disappeared and going to come back.
Got it.
But then when they start crying and everyone's upset and the chapters go on and on and on and you finish the book, he's gone.
He's nowhere in sight. Right?
He's gone because the book ended and he is not back.
I've never even thought about that, but that is kind of like you're reading this book expecting him. He's already disappeared.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And this time it's not him going away.
No.
It's him being pulled in
against his will. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's different.
And so it is the one time where the separation is for a different reason. Dude, that's brilliant.
As far as we can see,
right?
Because I just remember my initial feeling was like, and what I really remember from reading as a youngster was the bit in Two Towers. Mm-hmm. Blew me away. Mm-hmm. I never forget the feeling of just like, what's happening?
Yeah,
I actually remember kind of like talking. I vaguely remember talking through this whole bit to my mom. And kind of like talking about what's happening,
right?
Because I wasn't a very good reader, and so I was actually asking her to read some of it to me. Parts I didn't understand, or parts that were too hard. I had her read it. Man, so and it took me till like the end of the book where I'm like, oh, okay, so he's like, this is not like a dream or something. He's like,
he's back.
So okay,
yeah.
Let's dive into the old Bywater post.
Snowed under. We're still backlogged, aren't we? As we have plenty of your stories to read.
Yeah, and thank you for sending those. Send those to anunexpectedpod@gmail.com. Yep. It's down in the show notes on the podcast. So we should be good. I think we said last week we would read this one. So and this is from our friend Aaron.
Yes.
Not even gonna try the last name there. Is it Tetzlaff? That was close.
Yeah, that sounds right to me. Tetzlaff.
Aaron, sorry if I butchered it.
Aaron T.
Yeah. You got this one? You want to?
Yeah, I can read this one. Yeah. Lane Inez, first of all, thank you so much for all the work you guys put into this podcast. It has been a huge source of encouragement and a chance to connect with this great story in a whole new way. I recently moved from, before I read the next sentence, thank you, Aaron, and everyone for being on board and being a part of this club and making it so wonderful. It's because of you guys.
Yep.
I recently moved from Fargo, North Dakota, the Rohan of America, to Duluth, Minnesota, the poor man's Gondor. And when I found, this is the other cool thing, guys, that like, especially in in the States, that is happening is we're like naming regions.
I know, regions. Yeah,
it's cool. I love it. And when I found the book club, I had been commuting almost 2 hours one way for a month.
Wow.
God bless you, man. I have been tracking since episode 4, but with all the transition of moving and 2 buys under 2, I have a case of butterbur brain and haven't contributed much to the book club. Hey, same here. I haven't either. But since you are doubling down on weekly episodes, I decided I needed to carve time out to thank you and share my Lord of the Rings story. Beautiful.
Wow. Yeah.
I foolishly thought the Lord of the Rings were nerdy when I was in high school. In college, my roommate had the extended edition of The Lord of the Rings, and I started watching the appendices. I decided I had to watch them because of all the work that went into the films and seeing the cast and crew's passion for this great story. It really is amazing. Yep. I watched the extended edition of all 3 movies and love them, especially Aragorn. Ha, my man. I could identify with his call to greatness and his reluctance to embrace his role and responsibilities. Being the oldest child and a leader of sports teams in different clubs in high school, there was always a high pressure to set an example and perform at a high level. I felt for Aragorn and how he dealt with the weight of the implications of his failure, which greatly resonated with me. WWAD. After the movies, I was determined to read the books. By the will of the Valar, I found a copy of the trilogy at a thrift store for $1. Holy cow!
Wow, that's a steal.
Like Ez, I read about Glorfindel and had to learn more about this mysterious character.
Yeah.
After Glorfindel, after digging deeper into Glorfindel and the magnitude of this story, I was all in for all things Tolkien. That sounds like a podcast name.
It does.
I read The Hobbit soon after and started into the Book of Lost Tales, and I'm thankful to find this podcast to provide structure and encouragement to keep reading and exploring. One of the greatest impacts The Lord of the Rings has had on me is that all of the characters in this book didn't necessarily set out to change the world. They simply stepped up to each challenge that was presented to them. And that, man,
that's a really good point.
That's something I overlook a lot.
That is actually a really good point.
Yes.
And that's kind of life, isn't it?
It really is.
As this comes, we meet it.
Deal with it as it comes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. But through their determination to do what was right in the midst of hard situations, and with the support of those who were close to them, they did just that. Like Sam poetically says, they all had a chance to turn back, but they didn't. Wow. This makes me want to live a life that doesn't necessarily conquer giants, but through doing the little things right every day, I and those around me can erode the foundations of evil in our own world and leave this place better than we received it. Beautiful. Like Bilbo passed down his wisdom to Sam and Frodo, I want to be able to tell my kids and grandkids my adventures and inspire them to stand firm for good and not cave to the evils of this world. Yeah. Thank you again, Lane and Ez, for all your hard work. If you ever find yourself in Duluth, Minnesota, here you go, baby. You are welcome to grab a pint, fill the corners, and get a sniff of air with me and my family. That's beautiful, Aaron. Have a great day. Thank you so much. You know what? It's real. It's not really hard work. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I guess we do. We put a lot of effort into it. But I tell you what, you guys are doing the same thing on your end too.
Yeah, I mean that.
And that's what makes it all worth it.
That's what makes it better, man. It is like it's the relationship. It's the back and forth. Sending in your story, doing the research. We got some really great people out there who literally hit home with the histories, bring it in there, or dive into the chapter and make the connections, or pick out something that we missed and bring it back up. It's amazing. It
really is a fellowship. So, and hey, we might have to do that. We might have to head out to Duluth and grab a pint, get a local beer out there.
For sure.
So thank you, Aaron. That's beautiful. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Now next, just a quick little. Want to share a little another Tolkien story, from
Kiwi Conversations.
Yeah, Kiwi Conversation. So this was a lot of fun for me. I'll let you guys take a listen, and we'll chat after. All right, guys. Well, we have a special little treat for you this week. This is kind of fun, a little surprise for me. But Lane, we got some special guests.
Yeah, in a weird twist, we have Middle Earth kind of coming to the Shire of America, which is bizarre. It's like I don't know if Doctor Who's going to pop up, or I don't know, some sort of weird wizard get us organized here. But we have Brett Seller and John O'Seller, some of my Kiwi whānau from New Zealand. So when I went and stayed in New Zealand, the first time as a student, I stayed with the Seller family. I actually did half my student teaching with Margaret, Brett's wife, Jono's mom. And so
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's cool.
So I lived with them, and then I taught with Margaret. It was an amazing experience. Learned a lot. Got to see some inside vantage points of New Zealand. Really, really cool. And so they've become like international family. So they're here. Jono actually came, had a big trip. He visited his girlfriend for the first time.
That's awesome.
So that's pretty awesome.
That is so cool.
And Brett has essentially driven from, not including the stuff out in the Northwest, he's driven from New Orleans all the way to Lake Erie today. Yeah. So that kind of capped it off.
That's awesome. Well, welcome, guys. We're glad to have you here, honestly.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
So we want to get their Tolkien stories.
Well, first I want to ask him, how did you guys put up with Lane for all that time?
Oh, look, it wasn't easy. But hey, we did have a common interest there.
That's hilarious.
Can we talk about Lord of the Rings? Yeah.
No, I think this is better. Honestly, people would. No, I'm just kidding. But, no, that's neat though. He's often told me about just we actually do on our Patreon series. We do that whole. You're taking us through.
The travel.
We call it Middle Earth, but it is Middle Earth. New Zealand out there. And he's kind of showing me the lay of the land. So what's it like out there, though? Just in general, before you tell your story, is it? I mean, you've seen the States. You're over here. Is this your first time in the States?
Oh no.
This is no. Okay.
I've been here before.
Yeah. This is actually my second time in the States.
Oh, is it?
Oh yes.
Wow.
First time I was around about 8 years old. Would you say, Dad?
Yes, about that.
Yep, and we went to California, Disneyland. Wait, was it California?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
That's where it is.
It's been a while.
Disney World, Disneyland.
Actually, it is kind of confusing. We get confused over here.
I get confused all the time.
You probably don't remember, but you actually got up to Las Vegas and all the casinos there.
Oh, yes.
Did some gambling early on. I like it.
Yeah,
I don't think he did.
It was a bad addiction, really.
Yeah.
It took me years to overcome it.
Are you finally over it?
I'm over it now. I am clean.
We got you the help you need.
Oh, that's hilarious. So that's neat. So that's your second time back then. That's really cool. So yeah, just the difference is it what's the weather like over there? Is it always nice? I imagine just always nice and sunny. Never rains. It's always just perfect.
You got that wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
We come from Auckland.
Yeah.
Okay.
Auckland has got high humidity, lots and lots of rain, although it's not the worst place in New Zealand for rain, but we get plenty of it. But the one redeeming grace, I suppose, is that it's quite temperate. The temperatures don't tend to vary a great deal. So we don't get snow in Auckland in wintertime, and in summertime we don't get anywhere near the heat that you guys endure.
Oh yeah.
So it's quite pleasant in Auckland.
Yeah.
There are other parts of New Zealand like Matamata, which you probably are familiar with, which have even better temperature. Temperature settings. You don't get the swings so much.
Yeah.
So, they're very nice places in Auckland. No, sorry, not in Auckland, in New Zealand.
Yeah. What was that place we were just talking about that was like, it had the ridges and the mountain that you were telling me about on the Patreon series? It was like a hill. Remember, it was like volcanic. Was it volcanic?
Oh, you're talking about One Tree Hill?
Is that what it is? I don't.
No. You're thinking of Tongariro area, aren't you? Where, the Mount Doom. Is that right?
Well, have you got to that?
We haven't talked about that yet.
Well, it was somewhere near you. I thought it was near where they lived.
The Rippling Hill?
Sorry.
Yeah,
volcanic.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
what's
it's
that?
because One Tree Hill is what I was talking about on the travel pod. It's a big tall hill, but it ripples because it was volcanic, and so it's a different kind of texture than we get with our hills. You look out and you see these like wave. It's almost it looks like a flag rippling. There's all these levels and swirls and everything within the. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Is that near where you guys live?
I used to
just
jog
up the
there.
road.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
It's a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful.
That's neat. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I know just for our listeners, we have a bunch of pictures of those photo albums, which is basically your guys' stomping grounds, which we've been talking about. Yeah. So as we talk about that, we'll be thinking of you guys. So. Stories now. Time for some.
Yeah, let's
how you got into
Tolkien stories. Who wants to go first? Which Cellar Man wants to go first? They thought they were going to come on here and read something, and we were like, "No, we're going to get your personal story. Why you love Tolkien? Why you love Middle Earth?" We have a couple minutes to think.
Nothing like being put on the spot.
That's right. That's right.
That's exactly what we did.
It's fun for us. So
okay. Well, look, my first introduction to Tolkien was Lord of the Rings. When I was, I think, I'm not quite sure what your schooling ages are, but for me, I suppose it was around about 11 or 12 years of age.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow. So and into middle school. Yep.
I hated reading books. I really did hate read books.
Yeah.
The only books I ever read prior to that were probably H.G. Wells, War of the Worlds, and The Time Machine, things like that.
Yeah.
I liked a bit of sci-fi, but when I picked up Lord of the Rings, I could not put it down. I had to limit myself to one chapter a night.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I knew I would just sit there and read it and read it and read it. So
disappear for weeks. Where's Brett? He's reading Lord of the Rings.
Now, many years later, I introduced The Hobbit, which I had read after that, to my children. So I got married in the meantime and grew up, got married, had children, and I think even John might remember that. Do you, John?
Partially. Yes. I do remember sitting around the breakfast table and you reading a chapter or so.
Oh, nice.
Yes, that's right.
It's a good way to start your day.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. So, we got into that.
Yeah.
And I must admit, it was probably, those books were the most interesting and fascinating books I have ever read.
Yeah. We agree with you. The depth and the extent to which he created a world. And it's amazing that you talked about how, reading was kind of a chore before. I mean, you read H.G. Wells, but you hadn't really found a book that you loved. And we talk about that all the time, how Lord of the Rings is an amazing... Tolkien is a great way to get into reading. It seems like we've had so many people who've come forward and shared and said... Either reading was challenging for me before, or had nothing that interested me.
Well,
and then I found Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I'm a lot like Brett. I until I got into The Hobbit, I was not a big reader. So it really drove me into that. Once I got out of that series, I was like, "What's next?" There's really not a whole lot like it, so I had to go back and read it again. So but that's pretty neat. So
that's great. That's beautiful. Excellent. Jono, you're up next.
All
Tell us the Tolkien story, brother.
Well, I guess it all started when when my dad read The Hobbit in the breakfast table, but I was young back then.
Yeah.
So it didn't really stick in my mind for long. But what really started for me was when the movies released.
Yeah.
And when I first watched The Fellowship of the Ring, and I never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat. We have.
Yes.
Yeah.
And years and years later, after watching the movies and reading bits and pieces from the internet about the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, they started making the Hobbit movies. And I thought, well, maybe I should start reading the books first so I can compare it.
Yeah.
And I did just that. And that's where I really started reading The Lord of the Rings and whatnot. I first started with The Hobbit, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was easy to read for me, and it really opened my mind to the world of Tolkien.
Yeah.
And Jono, you've actually done, I'm not trying to cut you off, but you've actually done a lot of creation in your own imagination of worlds and characters, and you do art and you write little bits too.
Oh, wow.
Was any of that inspired by Middle-earth and Tolkien?
I say about 80% is inspired by Tolkien.
Yeah.
The rest is probably inspired by Star Wars.
Yes.
Oh, Ezra, there you go. The magic combination. But it's amazing too how he created such an imaginative works. But what it does is it helps you. I almost think it's a trigger for your imagination. It helps you. It helps unlock these mundanities that are in your head, and you can go to places you've never been before. He's a vessel to help you get there.
You read me like a book, Lane.
Yeah.
I started at page 1.
Oh, that's neat.
That's beautiful.
That's neat.
Yeah, that's great.
I'd say most people get into like you said, the movies first, right? I mean,
a
lot of our people, listeners, I would say,
depends on your age, doesn't it?
Yeah, where they came in at, So
Look, I don't know if you guys ever saw the very first movie that was done. It was only on the first book of the Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship. But it was a cartoon.
Yeah, the Ralph Bakshi film.
And I was so bitterly disappointed after having seen that. I thought I would definitely not go and see. If there was another one came out, I wouldn't see it.
Right.
So I was absolutely delighted when Peter Jackson took over and really did it properly.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable.
And he's been quoted several times as saying, "I never thought I would make it, you know, I thought it'd be a great film, but it would be too impossible, and I really looked forward to when someone would do it the right way. And it's ironic that he was the one who ended up doing it the right way.
Well, he had a lot of trouble, didn't he, finding somebody who was actually going to support him to do it.
That's true. Yeah, he went through Miramax, and it fell through, and then thankfully it was New Line who came in and saved him. And originally it was going to be 2 films. Yep. And then the head guys at New Line said, "There's 3 books. Let's make 3 movies." And he was like, "Oh my gosh!" Well, so but he did have a lot of trouble at first. That's right. He had to kind of go around and pitch it, and he wasn't. You know, you talk about the what is the number 8 fence wire mentality, right? Because he was a Kiwi and wasn't really, you know, New Zealand film wasn't really well known at that point. Yeah. He's kind of a pioneer in that area too. And,
that's right. Yes.
And kind of built it himself with his team and everything. So and we were talking about the ingenuity of New Zealanders, how they they're so isolated from the rest of the world, and they find ways of making their own things. Yeah, it's really incredible.
Is it true that Weta Workshop was born out of that?
Yes,
I think it was, wasn't it?
I believe so too. Yep.
They got
Richard
stuck
Taylor
in
and all those guys.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it was kind of the film drove the need for that, and now you have these guys that are working on like almost every film that needs digital creation and conceptual art. It's pretty amazing. So
those 3. I mean, it's magic. Those 3 films. I don't know. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
We don't have movies will come out now. New movies where their budget is huge, and they don't even look near as close as beautiful as that. It's insane that you know. I don't know.
So you guys have been traveling around a lot, and you've seen quite a bit of your own country too. So what if we had you pick your favorite place in New Zealand? So if you got to pitch one location in New Zealand to an American, or anyone
to
from
me
around
who
the
will
world,
be coming out soon.
I'm thinking Ezra.
Where should I go?
So pitch it to him. If you have one location, you say, you've got to come here. Here's why. Give him a sales pitch for a location. What do you think?
Okay, well, it probably has to be the tourist capital of New Zealand, which is called Queenstown.
Okay.
Now, Queenstown is on the lakes down there, and it's absolutely idyllic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's no wonder that people fly into Queenstown. It's got the backdrop of the Southern Alps, snow-capped.
Yeah,
beautiful mountains.
No wonder.
Okay, I mean you got great mountains over here too. You got the Rockies and all, but we've got it in a small area.
They're gorgeous. I can attest to that.
Where is, just because I don't have a map in front of me, because I remember where Auckland is about. Where's Queenstown? Where's that in relation?
Queenstown's sort of towards the bottom of the South Island.
Oh, okay.
So it's quite a distance from Auckland.
Oh, wow.
You tend to fly in through, there are direct flights, I believe, but you could all fly in through Christchurch, I suppose. Okay. But it's further southwest of Christchurch.
Okay.
And we have the mountains, the weather divides on the mountains. You get the rain falling on one side, on the western side, and on the eastern side where Queenstown is, it's nice and dry most of the time.
Oh, yeah?
So it's a beautiful place.
So you experience both. You hop on one side and you get the weather, you hop on the other, and it's nice and clear.
Yes, if you pop over to Milford, for example, where we did the Milford track once, and the weather there is almost raining all the time.
Yeah.
I like the rain.
Very atmospheric.
It's pretty neat.
That would probably remind you of, you haven't been to Scotland yet, but they're just
it's
big, huge mountains.
When I think of it, that cooler kind of, misty, rainy climate.
Excellent. So Brett's pitching you on Queenstown.
Okay.
And there's a lot of locations around there, too, where they filmed. So
is there? Okay.
Some film locations. So, Jono, what do you think, man?
One spot. Where should I go?
Well, for me, I'm going to go...
Do you think you know what he's going to say?
I know what he's going to say.
Okay.
Yes.
For me, it has to go nature. I say the Waitakere Ranges.
Oh my goodness! I thought you were going to say Matamata.
Oh, beautiful.
Yep, just go into the ranges, go into the forest.
Yeah. Huh.
It's like being in a different world almost for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, just seeing all the different types of trees, the ferns, the nature.
Yeah.
Don't need to worry about predators.
That is nice about it.
Oh, that would be nice.
No snakes.
No snakes, no bears.
No bears, no moose.
I mean, that's good.
Yep.
Ezra don't want to face down any bears. He's killed bears before.
I know.
I keep saying beers.
Well,
you've killed beers too.
Yeah, we have killed beers before, but Lane's afraid to walk down the trail over in Amanda. So
okay, come on now.
If it's safer, John, then I want to. That's what I want to do.
Place.
Where's that at though? Like where would I have to go from Auckland? Is it close by or is it?
Somewhat close by.
Less than an hour away.
Yeah, less than an hour away.
Okay.
Northwest.
You're pretty much out to the west from Auckland and slightly north, yes.
Yeah, so around that area.
Okay.
Lovely isolated beaches with rugged terrain.
Yeah.
You got the winds coming in on the west coast. They really ruffle you up.
Yeah.
Beautiful isolation out there.
Yeah.
And lots and lots of tracks, although they've closed a lot of them now for the moment because of the Kauri dieback disease.
Oh yeah, you have to spray your boots when you go in and all that.
They've actually gone and closed off a lot of the Waitakere ranges now.
There. Oh wow!
So because they're desperate to try and stop the Kauri dieback.
Those are
disease.
the really ancient big ones, right?
Oh yes,
yeah.
The Kauri were the renowned trees of New Zealand. They
they
were loved by the early settlers because they were such a good wood and so tall and so straight.
Yeah.
So they're
sort of like your redwoods, actually.
Yeah. That's what I was imagining. So they're dying. There's something.
Yes,
going
on? A number of years ago, some overseas tourists managed to bring in a disease, and unbeknown to us,
right?
And it happens to affect the Kauri only, which is really sad.
That is sad.
Wow.
Jeez.
The Waitaks also have a lot of really beautiful waterfalls that Brett would always make sure, and John would always make sure that we took tracks that led to those pretty waterfalls. So it's beautiful. And isn't that where Sir Edmund Hillary used to go running barefoot?
Exactly.
And
really?
Because he's just such a BA, he would run around there barefoot just for a good workout. I mean, he was... There are these trail markers that I remember taking pictures of that said it was a Hillary trail, like one of his either ones that he blazed, I don't know, or ones that he favored or something. So
that's awesome. That's so cool.
Well, we had some good runners like Peter Snell, etc., many years ago.
Yeah,
and he shot to world renown.
Yeah,
and they actually trained on the Waitakere ranges. They ran through them. Now, the tracks weren't as well formed as they are today.
See, and I can't imagine running on these tracks.
Like these guys really got to work out. This wasn't running on flat ground. We're talking about running up mountains.
Yeah.
So you can imagine that really prepared them.
Yeah. And over long distances, too. Not just like a little hike. They were, crazy.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting.
Well, that was pretty cool. We kind of
that's neat.
Feel like
actually,
Middle Earth came to us.
Yes, this is so neat.
How amazing is that?
Yeah. Now you're just going to take me out to them, right? We're going to do this.
That's right, man. I think we need to make it happen. I think we definitely do. So
give it a year and a half. I'll have to get out there.
Save up some funds.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Brett and Jono, for being here. We really appreciate it.
It was lovely.
That's right, for coming on. Do you guys listen to the podcast? Are you part of the book club? Okay, awesome. Yeah, excellent. Very good.
If you ever have any thoughts, you get a direct line to us now. So you just hit us up, and we'll share your thoughts out there.
Right.
So
that's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for being here and enriching our book club, guys. I think people will be.
They're gonna be thrilled.
Oh yeah,
they're gonna be. This will be fun.
What are they talking about? Where's that place? We want to go there. Ask them this.
Yeah.
Can they get it set up a date with Peter Jackson? Yes, they can. Probably.
That's great. All right. Well, guys, thank you very much again. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Okay, guys, that was our conversation with a couple of Kiwis. Those are John. That's John and Brett Seller, my brother and Kiwi host father from when I went. Went over there and did my student teaching. Yep, they were in for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah,
about a week ago when you're listening to this.
Now they were here a lot. They were here. Oh, you just meant.
Just in Ohio. Yes, I'm sorry. They were also in, like you heard, I can't remember exactly what I'm doubling over because we recorded that previously. But yeah, they were. Brett went up to the Northwest to see his grandson, and then they were down in Louisiana. John met his girlfriend for the first time, which is really cool. So, anyways,
down in Lothlórien.
Down in Lothlórien.
Gee,
I hadn't seen them since 2015 when we went to New Zealand. So it was really cool to see them again and take them around and show them Ohio. They were blown away by Ohio. They thought. Beautiful place. Brett even said a couple times, he's like, I don't think if I don't have to go home. I can stay here. I was like, well, there you go. It's a beautiful place.
I'm just really glad that they stopped by my place and
the second thing they said to me is they wanted to meet Ezra. So I was like,
I'm telling you, I'm gonna hit John up for some some more talk about Tolkien and Star Wars and everything.
John was a good boy. Yep.
Awesome. So.
Yep.
All right, guys.
So some good,
yeah. Again, send all those Tolkien stories, into the Bywater Post at inunexpectedpod at gmail.com. All right, on to strawberries with cream.
Might not be my strongest strawberries with cream, but the age-old question, Ezra: does the Balrog have wings?
Wow, I didn't know that. I did not know that this was
was a thing. I know that people were. Now I can't remember exactly in the film. It's amazing, dude, how much you don't notice. I blame our phones. But there was some kind of controversy over the Balrog in the film. Were the wings there? Were there not wings? Does it have wings? Does it not have wings? Because when we get into the description
of the book, it does. Yeah.
So let me find it real quick.
Yep. I know what you're asking. You're asking is basically if it has wings.
So
can it fly?
Yeah. And is it going to Neverland? His enemy halted again, facing him, and the shadow about it reached out like two vast wings.
Yeah.
Versus it stepped forward slowly on the bridge, and suddenly it drew itself up to a great height, and its wings were spread from wall to wall.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
So was it like wings or was it wings?
Yeah, I get you. Mm-hmm.
How do you prefer your Balrog, with wings or without?
Without. Okay. Without, in all seriousness.
My favorite.
Because here's, and I know this is supposed to be strawberries with cream, but I'm going to take it real serious. Remember the shadow? You remember when at the top of the stairs and the darkness that was kind of like just spreading around? Imagine in a room, it's all kind of like lumped up and contained and wrapping around him and stuff. And then in this great, open space, it spreads out like wings.
I like that.
I don't know.
I like my Balrog wings in kind of a teriyaki sauce. I'm not as hardcore.
I knew you were going to say.
Actually, some Carolina Gold, kind of, with a little bit of blue cheese and dip them in.
I get you.
But even when you go, kind of conservative on the sauce, they're pretty damn spicy. It is a flame of voodoo after all, so okay, but if you were in Middle Earth, here's the real strawberries with cream.
Okay.
What would your great, or I guess what would be your great test? Maybe who would be challenging you for your great test? Got to put some thought into that, don't you?
Holy smokes! Like a serious my great test, like my great.
It could be serious. Well, might be serious. I don't know.
What's yours?
So my great test would be, and I don't know if I can get through this without. I'm just kidding. But it would be, so I kind of manicure my own beard, and I take a lot of pride in that. Some people go to a barber. That's cool. I think I probably should go to a barber. It might look a little nicer, but I think for doing my own beard, I do pretty good job.
Yeah.
My great test in Middle Earth, I think, would be a grooming competition with Treebeard as to who takes better care of their facial hair.
Wow.
So now would I pass this test? I don't know. Maybe we'll never know. Maybe that's an appendix that has yet to be written. Or taken out. I don't know, depending on if it's about to burst. So,
wow.
Yeah, that would be my great test, as I think the grooming competition with Treebeard. So.
Okay. Wow.
So serious. Yeah, they should be serious.
They should be pretty serious. Yeah. Okay. I would say.
Our computers are touching.
They're touching. I would say leaving the Green Dragon before closing time.
Whoa.
I mean, I don't know, right?
Okay, some people are going to think that's a joke, but that is not a joke.
No, it's not a joke.
How would you do that?
Dude, you'd be missing so much. I mean,
not only conversation and rumors, but like drinks.
Everything. Yeah, you'd be missing everything.
Plus the Hobbit ladies.
Everything.
We know you're keen on the Hobbit ladies.
Everything. So,
wow.
Can't leave early.
Okay.
Never know what you're
going to... guys, I guess maybe some feedback we could have is, would we pass our great tests? I don't know. So maybe some fan fiction could arise because of that. What do you think?
I think it could. How I was destroyed when I left early. My downfall.
Into the water and didn't come back out again.
I came back in and I found that they were, that they had upgraded and they're serving pints, and I lose my mind.
I'm getting on. All right. That was fun. Thank you. Time for some sharing of the load, my friend.
Yeah, sharing the load. I think this. coming. Well, actually, you should probably already have it. You should be able to go to check out on patreon.com/UpTalking Tolkien the histories, our Hobbit's Guide.
That's right. We're calling it a Hobbit's Guide Home. And home is an acronym for Histories of Middle Earth.
Dude, do you guys
like that? A Hobbit's Guide Home.
A Hobbit's Guide Home. So that rolls off the tongue.
Histories of Middle Earth. There you go. So
I like it.
We have a logo that's coming out too. We're going to try to work on. It's going to look like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
So
I think we kind of also decided that with Baron and Luthien, we'd just do like a quick little, our initial take to that, and then maybe even we're going to do our initial take to each of those great tales, and then probably after we've done that, continue on the Patreon series with that and like go more in depth.
Yeah.
Because I think we're limited on time, on Patreon. So I think we have like an hour and 20 minutes. Lane and I.
Yeah.
We talk for a couple of
nice
Ezra.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. So that's it, my friend. Honestly, it helps the podcast. You guys have no idea how much it means to us. When you come and support us there. Another huge thing that it helps us do, for example, we've had our first, out of state visitor. I think it's Erica. Let me pull this up real quick. Coming to our party.
Oh, a long expected party. That's right.
Yeah, which you plugged last week, and
I forgot to bring up again at the beginning of the
that's
episode,
okay. We will bring it up.
We will.
Later, but
that's great.
It allows us to kind of throw events like that, and I just think so. Thanks, Erica, and anyone else who wants to kind of. We actually have. Well, we have one other person who I was going to run by Lane today to see. It might be someone that who's also coming. So it's in the email. I just can't pull it up right now.
Richard Nixon.
He'll be here.
Tricky Dick.
He's coming. So, but anyways, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and you guys get it's just a huge help. So, fun little content on there. We actually have a little crossover. Julian and Florence,
hey guys,
from Swish and Flick, possibly will be doing a crossover episode, which we're gonna post on Patreon. So you'll definitely want to
try to do too much. So. I mean, there's just a lot going on.
There's so much going on.
We still need to get back into. There and Back Again, the travel pod. That will happen, guys. We're just. Plugging through all this material that honestly there's not. And Ezra's he's in Timbuktu, he's in Hogwartsville.
Next week I'm coming. And I am spending. I'm just gonna camp.
I want Ezra to spend the night. I keep saying it. And I think I'm afraid I'm gonna poison him to sleep or something.
I'm gonna pitch a tent out back.
You can sleep in our house.
Lots
of beds. Not lots of beds. We have extra beds.
Okay, well.
Or you could sleep on Arwen's bed beside our bed if you wanted.
That'd be great, actually.
Yeah, Michael Scott
I'd feel
style.
Really safe.
All right, well, good stuff there. More to come. So on to our weekly well wishes, formerly fortnight farewells.
I don't want to say goodbye.
I know.
Do you?
You don't have to.
Why are you forcing us out?
All we ever do is say goodbye. That's a little John Mayer who, if I could do some, if you're watching at home, is greater than Taylor Swift, just so you know.
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Team John.
Well, I'm going to have to edit that out.
A little pepper dog. Interesting.
I have no words.
We want to thank you for stepping off the road with us. Our next episode, we'll be digging deep into Chapter 6 of Book 2, Lothlórien.
Mm-hmm. If you like our podcast, don't forget to subscribe, like us, write a review, leave a comment, or send us a Shadowfax. And by the way, thank you for those of you who listen clear up to the end here. The old Shadowfax mention. We got some comments.
He is the Lord of all communications.
He is.
After all. And yeah, Curtis, the number on that, we're going to have to get to you privately because we don't want to hand it. Well, I don't know. The Shadowfax is kind of a secretive number. Speak friend and enter kind of thing. So
right.
Since you listen to the end, we're going to have to get it to you, Kurt. Just let you know. We'll see you in a Hobbit fortnight. And remember, Frodo lives.
Frodo lives!
Shaka-doo ba-ba, chitty-ba-ba-ba-too-too-too-pee, tip-on-titty-pop.
Down, ship it down, but the unexpected podcast. Yeah, his name's Ezra and my name is Lane, and we come from a little place called Insane. Yeah, on the edge of Amanda Town in a little Ohio Valley Sound. Yeah, oh yeah, that's orchestra. Better play this song. Yeah, thank you. God bless.